present to you the best Quad City sports talk radio show in the world. With the face who runs the place, T-Roy, the OG on the marquee, Jaybird, and the cat who runs the chat with the stats, Statman Surge. We are Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. We're not a Quad City sports talk radio show. We're not the Quad City sports talk radio show. We are your Quad City sports talk radio show. Welcome to the conversation, Quad Cities. But first, the Dawn.
It is draft day here in the Hassle Castle, Jay, and we are not just going to build it back better, we're going to build it back better. That's right. Welcome to the show. Yeah.
Shots are fired.
Right off the bat. I got to fire shots, bud. Love. We got Merrick Brave in the studio.
Oh, you guys, you knew I wouldn't miss this for the world. I am so effing jacked, man. Can I say that?
Yeah. And I think Adrian's pretty jacked, too.
You know, the first time I've been excited about a draft in a couple years now. It's been a couple hard years for the Bears, so
Jay put us all on assignment a little less than an hour ago.
I agree about the excitement, and I'm not. This isn't the first time I'm saying this on the air. So
your voice sounds terrible. Do something.
I know, there's something wrong.
You have it on 2. You don't have it on 1.
Oh, I have it on 2. Thanks,
There
buddy.
it is.
Yeah,
Ooh,
look at you.
First day.
You should be
I
a
just knew
producer or something.
when your lovely voice isn't right, it
There
ruins
we
my
go.
day.
Yeah.
There you go.
I am with you, Adrian. I can't remember being this geeked for a draft. I don't know. I think we talked about this on Monday, T. Where I don't know if it's the overflow of like how much research you've done, talking to Merrick or Adrian having you in here, or just maybe it's a specialty weapons that are going to be drafted, and that's it. Because I mean, let's be honest. If 3 offensive tackles go in the first 5 rounds, we're all kind of like,
Yeah.
Well, let's just look at it from in perspective from last year. Okay, we knew we weren't going to have an in-person draft, but it was fun to watch last year still. But at the same time, the 3 biggest names were Burrow, Young, and Tua Tagovailoa.
Close. You almost had it there.
Did Tagovailoa?
Tunga Vailoa.
Viola.
Yeah.
Damn it.
I think it's a
Tunga
left arm of a god or
Viola.
something like
Left
that.
arm of God.
Yeah,
only
I
guy,
say that.
only
Yeah,
guy in the
it's
Quad
a-
Cities that can say that name.
Tunga Viola, yeah.
It's possible.
So, but what I'm saying, those were the 3 big names, right? And that's what we all talked about. Justin Herbert, I mean, granted, he turned into a monster. But it wasn't like we were like, ooh, Justin Herbert. And even the receivers last year weren't as hyped as these receivers. You had Henry Ruggs, you had Jerry Jeudy, and you had CeeDee Lamb.
But the reason the receivers are hyped this year because of last year's draft. Because of how well they did.
I think you got a Heisman. You have a Heisman winning receiver this year, which hasn't happened since.
True.
Okay.
Tim Brown?
Yep.
Okay.
You have Jamar Chase, which arguably he would have won the Heisman his last year that he played, but went to his quarterback instead.
It's only because
Okay.
of his quarterback why he's good.
Jalen Waddle, who all the hype in the world this kid had, he got injured, came back to play
They're
in the
calling him the
championship.
next Tyreek Hill.
Trevor Lawrence, by the
Kyle
way,
Pitts,
we've been
Kyle
hyping
Pitts.
Trevor
Kyle
Lawrence
Pitts,
since he won a national title as a freshman. Okay, Kyle Pitts, and then
unicorn.
there's still you got Penny Sewell and Patrick Surtain, who people have thrown around the words that these are can't miss NFL.
Don't throw off on
They-
Horn. The
they've
Horn
said
is
it.
it too as well.
Well, I tell you what, though. I think there's a lot more excitement around this draft because there's a lot more uncertainty around this draft. A lot of these players opted out last year.
100% agree with this.
You don't know what's going to happen.
There is no pro day. There is no combine. I mean, they had pro days, but
Half
I mean,
the
not
players
same.
opted out last year.
Half the players opted out. This is the first. I'll read something really, really dumb to you now that you mentioned that. That I was just like, well, okay, is this a big enough deal? Like,
Is it a speech?
no,
Oh.
no. It's about gosh, where is it? It's about the draft, and it is where is it? It's something like the first 2 offensive linemen didn't play a game. The Trey Lance had played 1 game in so many years. Like I'll get the quote because it's just I was like I don't even know if I want to talk about it.
Jamar Chase didn't play last year. Jalen Waddle was injured for most of the season.
Yeah, I think he had maybe 3 total games.
And these
Okay.
are all top 10 picks.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah,
NBC
because he played the first game of the year, got injured, and then he came back and played
NBC Sports.
in the.
Peter King says, we know Peter King from Monday Morning Quarterback says, never has there been a draft where the top 3 offensive linemen are all likely to be picked in the top 20 come in after a year off from playing football.
Yep.
True. Never has there been a draft where one of the top corners, Caleb Farley, will be drafted having not played a football game in the previous 512 days. And never has there been a draft when a quarterback likely to be drafted in the top 10, Trey Lance, has played one football game in 15 months. So, yes, the oddness is out there. We also said yesterday there's 400 names in the draft that's been thrown around. Over 50 of them have an INC by their medical history because it's incomplete.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're doing.
It's crazy, man.
And the fun thing about when I look at you, Merrick, Adrian, and T. Roy and say, you don't know what you're doing, we're going to tell you today what they're going to do. So,
we're going to take our best shot.
But
Somebody
real
should
quick,
be writing these down. See how
let
many
me
we
go
get
through
right.
a couple things of housekeeping for you guys. Let's talk baseball.
Okay.
I do not like positional players pitching. I'm sorry.
What do you mean? When
I
they
do not
strike out Freddie Freeman, I love
I do
it.
not think that's a cool thing and whatever else. I'm like,
well, when your team sucks so bad that you're down 10-0 in the 7th, that happens.
shouldn't that be the problem?
That's a big problem.
Shouldn't
It's
that be
a
a thing
huge
if you-
problem. That's like, I'm sorry, but man, as a Cubs
Your
fan,
starting pitcher, he
just
goes
pisses
4
me
for 4.
off.
He's a triple away from the cycle, and you just throw out a positional player to throw against him, and they're the ones that strike you out. I just don't like it. I really don't.
It's not fun. It's not fun to watch somebody that strikes somebody out and then giggle about it when you're down 10 runs. It's not for me.
Counterpoint?
Yeah, sure.
I think it's awesome.
Do you?
I think it's
I
hilarious.
thought it was
I
hilarious.
would giggle about it too.
The fact that he struck out like his peer, that was the funny. I mean, it's Rizzo throwing to Freeman.
There's 162 games. If you can't laugh at the end of a 10-0 blowout, come on.
Yeah, but it's been happening too much.
It really has. And
Now
that's
it's
the
unfortunate.
thing.
Now it's like
It's like the
It's
third
a thing
time in the
now.
last
It's-
week that
it's
a
not good.
positional player
Yeah.
has done it.
Yeah.
It really is like the third time in the last week that a positional
Cubs?
player has pitched. No.
that was going to happen.
I'm not a big fan of gimmicks. So that leads me to the Pioneer League. Pioneer League,
This is riveting.
if they go into extra innings, they will not go to international tiebreaker rule.
home
where
run
they put-
derby.
They will go to a home run derby. It will be someone that's already designated to be their home run derby participant. They will have 5 pitches, and it will be like a shootout type of thing, the best out of 5. If there's a tie after that, they will go to their second.
And you're
person.
saying you like this.
I do not like this.
Okay, I was going to say, you just
There
said
is
you're not
no
a fan
way
of
I
gimmicks.
like this. And the idea that somebody can share this on social media and be like, I think the MLB needs to adopt this. No, they don't.
I don't even like the I almost cursed on air there. That's how much I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like the rule where the runner starts on second.
I don't like the
Not a
international
fan
either.
Not a fan.
That's something that they do in like slow pitch softball.
They
the
do
game
it in
gets over
girls
quicker.
fast pitch softball. That's where international tiebreaker starts from. It started from girls fast pitch softball. I don't like it either. I don't like the idea of any of it. I don't like driving down the road, listening to something on XM radio that someone's paid a lot more than all of us combined, one person, and to sit there and ask, well, who's throwing the pitches? I don't know. Maybe the BP coach? This guy has done nothing like breaking it down. He's just like, my question is, who's throwing the pitches? Who do you think? It's not like their dad. It's not Bryce Harper's dad that's going to do it during the home run derby. It's the BP coach.
Yeah,
And
and
on
they got to
top
bring
of-
out the fence for it too.
Is that what you want? Is that when it comes down to 162, your last game, and you have to think about game 41, and you're like, well, it came down to a home run derby, and that's why we're not in the playoffs? I don't want that.
I don't
Not one
want
bit.
it either.
I don't like gimmicks. I don't like what baseball's doing. I don't like that Manfred went on, and I think it was Mikey that shared. No, it was Easer A's. Easer A's was on Twitter, said thoughts. I don't like that Manfred said, well, Adam Silver told me to embrace in-game live betting because that's what baseball is, and to stop talking about the slow pace of game.
Who
Hey-
told him that?
Manfred, the commissioner of baseball, said that Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA,
So-
said stop talking about pace of play and embrace in-game live betting because that's what baseball is best for. And he's right, 100%. You have that time in between. If you're a baseball fan and you're a gambler, I am. Sign me up. That is about the time when you want to do it. It's so hard in basketball to do it in-game live betting. The things change. As soon as you hit the bet, they'll be like, can't accept the bet. It changes. Boom, like that. NFL can go that quick too. But the fact that the commissioner of baseball is saying that the NBA commissioner tells him to stop talking about pace of play and just embrace other things like gambling is ludicrous to me. That the NBA commissioner is telling you what to do, how to do your job. MLB is so far out of it, it's crazy. And Silver's right. But the idea that Manfred's just like, that he would even talk about it, that I don't know how to do my job, is nuts to me.
Just trying to tweak things for the sake of tweaking things.
Yes.
Those two
Grasping
remind
at
me.
straws.
Those two remind me of two blind squirrels in a peanut factory.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Adam Silver, needs to tell him how to do his job, but he has been kind of the front runner and changing things in the NBA and being all about change. Maybe he can help him out somehow.
You are right. I've said it before. If there's one
It seems like he's ahead of the game.
out of the 4 professional sports, and if we throw in 5, then I'll throw in my 5th. He is always, the NBA is always on the forefront. They're so far ahead of their way that they ended up screwing themselves over because they were so good on highlights that they're like, wait a minute, everyone's just going to YouTube and watching highlights. No one's watching the games anymore. Well, that's when they got into that NFT type of thing, that those cards and they partnered with that, knowing that just the highlights are there. The NBA is on the forefront of thinking. And then number 2 will be the NFL. The number 3 will be MTV The Challenge. It is.
What about the circle?
I'm going to tell you right now, from what I see from MTV, they are the destruction of society. They are part of it. They are like at least 33.3% part of the destruction of society.
What do you mean?
Oh,
what
man,
you see
T-Roy.
on MTV? It's just ridiculous.
T-Roy, I'm so happy.
Over and over again.
I'm
terrible.
so excited that you just brought in that hot take from 2006.
Did you?
Whatever, dude. Well, maybe.
But speaking of ridiculousness, I actually I was supposed to be featured on that show once for my famous wrestling botch, where I go for the move to the outside and I go straight up, straight down, and
Yeah.
I hit my guts on the top turnbuckle. I actually sold that footage to Ridiculousness. And it was supposed to be shown on the episode that was hosted by Paige, but I had been on some shows with Paige when we were both younger, and she was still working alongside my business partner, Seth Rollins, at the time. And when they showed the clip, she refused to say anything bad about it because she didn't want to get any heat or whatever. So she's like, no, I can't talk about that. So it got cut from the episode.
All right.
I was like,
Paige. I was like,
I gotta
make fun of
dissect
me.
this.
I would have watched
Hold on
it
a
with
second.
Merrick on there, but anything else is garbage on that
What
on
is
that
it?
channel.
Listen, I have no. I don't.
Aren't they the
I have
pregnant
not
alone?
watched. I'm telling you right now, I have not watched more than 40 seconds combined of ridiculousness.
It was kind of funny. It's kind of
So you sold it to him?
Yeah, so in 2006, actually April 1st, 2006, I'll always remember the date because it happened on April Fool's Day, and the show I wrestled on was called We're No Joke.
Okay.
And I just happened to have one of the most famous wrestling botches
I've
of
seen
all
it,
time
yeah.
on that day. So it's like nice synchronicity there. But years later, I'm talking maybe like 4 years ago, 5 years ago at the most, I was contacted by MTV asking if I would sell this footage. It wasn't my footage to begin with. It didn't happen on my show. It happened on somebody else's show. But they bought the footage from them, and then they were like, we need you to sign this release form. And I was like, yeah, if you pay me. And they went back and forth with me on that, saying they didn't want to pay me. They just wanted me to sign it. And I was like, well, you guys just bought footage that you can't use because I'm not signing anything unless you pay me.
If you pay me. I love it.
So they did end up paying me. And
Good
then
for
when
you.
they went to put it on the show, because Paige was hosting, she wouldn't say anything bad. Because that's the whole thing, right? They show the clip and then
Yeah.
everyone makes fun of the person
guess,
who
yeah.
did the botch or whatever, which would have been me. But she refused to say anything bad about me because she knew me, and she knew, obviously, Seth is my business partner, and he's in the clip as well. So they ended up cutting it from the show, and I was like, man, you should have made fun of me. I wanted to be on the show, you know what I mean? I wanted to be on MTV. But that's neither here nor there. That's my ridiculousness story.
Long story short, why haven't you gotten Paige to call into the show here and talk to us?
Well, I'll text her right now. You want?
Do you really have her in your contacts?
Who do you want? You want
course he
Paige?
does.
You want AJ Styles? Who do you want?
I do want AJ Styles too. Yeah, I
Styles.
really do.
He
Actually,
says
keep
he
going
wants
down-
AJ Styles.
AJ Styles is not
It's
doing
in a
anything on the
different
TV
way.
anyway right
It's
now.
not-
He's not doing anything on TV anyway. Might as
So
well
if I
give him
leave
a
at
call
2 and I can't find my phone, I know what's going on here.
Yeah. I mean,
Jay sending inappropriate pictures to AJ Styles is what's going on.
so let's add. So Braun Strowman, Booker T, Ric Flair. Is that it that we've talked to? And Seth Manders. Not Seth Manders. Steve Manders. Yeah, the one
I
called
wasn't
Manders.
here when. Oh, was I here when we talked to Booker T?
Yeah,
feel like
we
I
had. You were here.
missed it. I do remember Brom, and obviously
Why was I not brought on those days? Isn't that like a perfect day for me to be here?
when we were. Well, when Flair was there, you were part of the
you were there
thing
with
getting
Flair.
him.
Serge got me a shout out from Braun.
Yeah.
He
But
gave me a
that's
shout out
why
to
you
the
were
radio.
busy setting stuff up when we had Flair.
That was a very busy, stressful day.
Yeah.
Now,
The Brom thing, I don't know.
That was right before he was supposed to be coming into town, and because of the road to WrestleMania, and then a week later, everything got shut down because of the global pandemic called COVID-19.
Oh, that's right.
And
Was
Booker T
was
the same
he
way.
in studio?
No, just
No,
phone
just
call.
Phone call. Gotcha.
He was a good phone call.
Yeah.
Booker was a little bit off, but Braun was awesome.
Yeah, Braun's funny, dude.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun to have. But yeah, I mean, not nearly as cool as Paige will be. So I can't wait for that to happen. But that's just some of the things that are going on. Again, if we're going to start the show, we're going to start the show talking about things that are going on in sports. But of course, the majority of this is going to be we're just going to overdo it on draft because we might as well. And
You gotta.
tomorrow we're going to have the hangover of that as well. We'll get to all of it. Just a quick quote that makes it a little bit of fun. No one's going to be happy 100% across the board what you pick.
That doesn't sound fun.
Yeah. And people are going to get upset. And this is a quote from former Packers executive Andrew Brandt. Said he'll never forget. This is a quote. I'll never forget a Lambeau Field draft party going on below us with 1,000 people. The thunderous boos from there when we picked Aaron Rodgers literally shook our souls. And we got an F from most media grades. And Brett was mad. And the coaches are mad. But we trusted the board. And that's, I guess, what we're going to have to be looking at the most here is the best player. I think in the top 15, we talked about this before we went on air. I think from here on out, 15, what are you doing best for your franchise? Actually, in the first round, what are you doing best for your franchise? And are you just going by, the fantasy drafts that we've all done when it's on auto pick? Because the best on the board because someone tells you? Or are you doing the best for your franchise? And I think that's what we're going to go through each one of these picks and talking about it. Are you doing the best? There are trades out there that I think should be made. I think there's other things going out there that teams need. And is it a team need or is it best for the franchise? And you're going to get to some of that with the quarterbacks, the problem with the quarterbacks and who's going to go and whatnot. So those are all the fun things that we get to talk about today. Speculate, recklessly speculate, yell at each other, raise our voices, get excited, all that fun stuff going on here today. It was today in sports history, if you will, that the first ever draft was on the air.
What year was that?
1980.
1980. So you were about 22 at that time?
Yeah, it's about that. Boy, oh boy. And look at you over there. He's funny. He's got jokes. It was just...
I just started making fun of your age, not mine. Because if you were 22, I was 82.
ESPN was just 7 months old.
Wow.
And they decided to air the entire NFL draft.
And that's back when it was just a bunch of old dudes sitting in a conference room together,
Mm-hmm.
right?
The Hartford Courant, that newspaper, that's great, called it a neat experiment.
Neat.
The entire 12 rounds, 333 pick draft was held at a ballroom in New York Sheraton. The coverage began at 7 a.m.
I kind of miss it when the draft was like on the weekend and it started at noon. And
Yeah.
It was not a primetime event, kind of like the baseball isn't a primetime event. Now it kind of is, but it wasn't before. Let's see. Do you guys want to even speculate? T-Roy,
Yeah.
do you think you know who the number one draft pick was of the 1980 draft? I will tell you he was a 1978 Heisman Trophy Award winner.
Well, I'm pretty sure it was Marcus Allen.
It wasn't Marcus Allen.
He was the 78.
It's the winner of the 78 Heisman Trophy winner went in the 1980 draft.
Oh, it was Herschel Walker.
It was not Herschel Walker.
No. It went first in 1980, and he won it in 78.
He went to the Lions, was the number one overall pick.
Oh, Billy Joe Dupree.
It was Billy Sims.
Billy Sims. All right.
There you go.
Dang
This became an overnight sensation, this little fun experiment. And then 4 years later, someone that we've all grown to love, Mel Kiper, comes along. And that's when he
In
starts
the 84 draft?
That's the first time he gave his analysis was the 84 draft when they came in.
See, I told Amy today. She said, "Oh, you're doing that little silly thing where the people pick their people." I go, "You're calling it a silly thing." I go, "I've been working on this thing." I go, some people make a lot of money doing their draft analysts. She goes, "Do you?" And I'm like, "Huh."
Is the first round of the
When I
NFL
do.
draft the second most popular sporting event of the year behind the Super Bowl?
One-day event. Because
First round of the NFL
but
draft.
it's a one-day event. The World Series is not a one-day
But
event.
I think there's statistics out there that even Game 7 of Cubs Indians World Series, the draft still trumped them in ratings.
Well, that's
And that was a
terrible.
great game. What a game. Wish it would have finished a little bit different, but
I can't argue with it. I don't know what would be out there. It's sad. that you're just picking players and putting
you'd
them on
have
teams.
Final round of the Masters is up there. Either Game 7 in the NBA Finals or the World Series would be up there.
I'm watching more games of postseason than I would ever watch a draft and pay attention to. So,
But are you in the minority?
I'm in the minority. Yeah,
I think it
you're
is.
probably
I
right.
think it's the second most popular
I'd
sporting
rather
day of the year.
watch the NFL draft more than any NBA game, unless the Bulls were playing in it.
That's just sad.
Let's go through it. Any
I'm
hockey
just
game?
saying,
Would you rather watch it
Yes,
more than
way
any
more
hockey
than
game?
any hockey game.
Any baseball game?
It would really depend on who's playing.
That's just you don't like those things.
No. I used to love the NBA, but I don't. My team now is not good, and I have no player that I really like.
Any regular season baseball game?
No.
So you would watch the NFL draft over any
Yeah.
regular? So it would have to be a
Like,
postseason
like
game.
in the playoffs, like let's just say right now, if it's not the Cubs, which we know it's not going to be the Cubs, but if it was Game 7, Dodgers Yankees, yes, I would rather watch that. But
Okay.
let's say in the NBA, let's just say it's going to be the Suns versus who's the number one team in the East right now? Is it Miami or
Brooklyn or
it's
the Sixers?
three teams. Brooklyn Sixers and the Bucks are right in the hunt right now.
right.
Brooklyn, as of 2 nights ago, was the
none
number
of
one.
those teams, the Suns, none of that would excite me. It would literally have to be the last time the NBA Finals excited me was literally LeBron versus the Golden State.
The 2015, right? Coming back from 3-1.
that was exciting to watch. The what's going on now, I'm not. Like Golden State's not really good anymore right now. Injuries, age, whatever. I'm just these.
But the Knicks are good.
I
The
just,
Bulls are in the good playoffs.
I don't like the Knicks. I hate the Knicks because I'm a Bulls fan. I know.
But
It's just
I-
weird. The
I
NBA.
think, I
is
think
just,
you're actually helping to make his point that there are teams who used to be good who are now good again, and he still doesn't care. And I think that's indicative of how the viewing public
the NBA
views
guy, and the
other
NBA guy
sports
I
compared
like.
to the NFL and anything that comes with the NFL, whether it's the draft, the combine, which we didn't have this year, but we will have and we have had in the past. I think the NFL trumps every other sport, and not just regular season games or playoff games, but anything to do with the NFL, just anything, whatever it may be.
And Adrian, think about this, for example. So I don't play NBA fantasy. That would hugely help.
That would change everything.
It really would.
Yeah.
Like, and I like Zion Williamson. I think he's great. I want to see what this kid can do.
He just signed
Obviously-
a
Right.
shoe deal with Jumpman.
Awesome.
Let's throw that out there. Sorry.
Thanks, Jay.
Mhm.
But like right now for the NFL, I'm not a Dolphins fan, but I'm just excited to see what they're going to do with their draft. I mean, I'm not a Jets fan. Kind of excited to see what they do with their picks. Jacksonville is what Jay thinks they're going to piss it down. Like, obviously, I'm excited about my own team, but I get excited when these trades happen. Like everything about the NFL, there's teams I hate. Like I don't want the Redskins or whatever they are now, the football team,
The football team.
the Eagles or the Giants to do well at all in anything. I mean, I want them to pee down their leg on everything. Every other team in the NFL, I don't care. I'm excited about, and that's the fandom, and plus just me being a fan of great teams, except for the teams in my division that I hate with a passion. So in baseball, it's kind of the same way, except I'm not as passionate about baseball as I used to be. And is that a lot of it right now is, man, I thought the Cubs were going to be on this great run forever. And obviously, you know, it can't last. But it's like this weird thing coming to an end, and you're looking at it, you're going, all you had to do is supply some pitching. They have guys that can hit. I mean, it's not going to be.
Do you think your interest in these other sports waned a little bit as your NFL fandom increased? You think there's just so much that you can care about, and so you started caring about football more, which caused you to care about the other things less?
You've only got so much in you to give.
Well, it's that, and I think it's the fantasy aspect.
I think fantasy football really did.
Because even with baseball, like Jay got me involved in fantasy. It got me more excited about. Like I'm back to knowing more about baseball than I did before.
But it's so much more work.
When I was a kid, I could tell you who was the starter for almost every team in the MLB.
Yeah.
In the Major League Baseball, I'm like, I can't do that now. I mean, I can't. I can come close. I can tell you some stuff, but
yeah,
I think it's just a matter of what your interests are. Man, when it comes to football, I love it. I love the names. I love the college aspect of it.
You know, the gladiator mentality.
I think the
colors.
fantasy aspect of it, before we go to break, is actually the opposite now. Like before, I would say 3 years ago, and Easer A's would be one that would talk to us and say things and be like, guys, when we would break down like the Hall of Fame and be like, oh, maybe it should be a Hall of Fame, maybe it shouldn't. But he's like, this isn't fantasy just because you don't know the names. Like the guy was a great offensive lineman for years. And I think it's actually gone opposite of me. I've actually figured out more names than I would never draft in fantasy. Like when we do the redraft, when we go back in old drafts and everything, I'm like, well, that guy didn't pan out. That was a guy that was like a wide receiver. That guy was on my fantasy roster. But now I know more about offensive linemen, defensive linemen, linebackers than I probably would ever before. Whereas before, I'm like, I don't care. Like, I'm just going to Cortland Sutton, I'm definitely drafting him as a lottery pick.
Exactly. So, the introduction of fantasy football has cultivated more fans and has allowed you to go deeper with your fandom, because not only do you care about your specific team, but you care about all the other teams too. And then it becomes appointment viewing to watch the Jaguars versus the Cardinals on a Thursday night. You know what I mean? You wouldn't care about that
because
game if it wasn't
Kyler
for
Murray and you
exactly.
No, I get all that. And the thing is, the NFL, and Adrian, kind of look at what you're saying maybe about 10 minutes ago, the NFL has learned how to market themselves every month of the year.
Yep.
And the NBA has found out a way to market themselves every month of the year. They use social media very well. The NFL has piggybacked on that. When we're done with the draft, you know what we're going to be looking forward to? Those schedule release tweets, and I love them. I mean,
and that's like 3 weeks after the draft.
And I love those videos. I really do. And then you're going to have your OTAs. And then you're going to have, after June, you're going to have trade when someone like Julio Jones. And the NFL has found out a way to every month to capitalize on it. And like I said, the NBA has done the exact same thing. That's the thing with MLB. They just don't know how to make it seem cool. And if they're going to always complain about pace of play when it's been going this way forever, like, move on. Find something else. Make it better. Do whatever else. I don't know what it is.
But the average baseball game is almost the same as the average football game.
But there's less action.
And that's the deal. And
that's not true.
Well, I mean,
it's like 7 seconds every play in the NFL.
But one single solitary pitch, and then takes half of a second, and then you got 45 seconds until the next pitch happens. And people just, with the attention spans of young people these days, with the Twitter and all the stuff that just comes to you.
No different than it was 15, 20 years ago. I'm telling you.
I love baseball. No. I think baseball is a sport that you get into more, at least in this day and age, as you get older. I think it's something that you appreciate more as you get older, because it's more of a leisure time viewing experience where, I think there are very intense moments in a baseball game. You're down by a run, you got 2 outs, runner on second. Can your guy come through with a base hit? Every pitch in that at bat is give you a heart attack, but it's not like the NFL. It's not that excitement that you get from the NFL, and that NFL taps into our warrior mentality as human beings. I think it's just ingrained in our nature. You know what I mean? But I think baseball is something that you can get into more as you age. Same with golf. I like watching golf. Like, that's not something that kids are like, oh, I'm 12-year-olds like, I think I'm gonna turn on golf today. You know what I mean?
But you don't watch, like, let's say even the Masters. You don't watch every round from start to finish. I mean, not very many people do.
No, you should.
You watch a little bit, and even like, I think back to the early 2000s, man. I couldn't wait to get in my work truck and tune on Pat Hughes in the Cubs because I would drive around, do what I had to do, but I would always have it on so I could hear baseball, and I loved it. And that was a time when baseball was very huge to me, and I loved every World Series. And it was some time where even the Cubs weren't necessarily good then, but it was just I fell off of baseball. Just
I think there was a time, and I don't know when it was, that baseball shifted from being everyone, all ages favorite sport to more of a quote unquote old timers thing, where it was more of people who were in their mid to late 30s, 40s that were diehard baseball fans. The kids,
You're onto something though, and it has to do with, and Jane, you know this, baseball playing the World Series on certain times at night, so that it basically was getting over when kids were already in bed. Like they couldn't stay up and watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
and
So you lose out on that.
And they take the fun out of the game with certain unwritten rules, bat flips and things like that. Like when you see these old timers going crazy about Fernando Tatis flipping his bat because he just crushed a 450
You can call him
foot
Brian
home
McCann.
run.
It's okay. He's not going to get mad.
But you know what I mean? Like kids see that and they're like, "What? That's not fun." Like I want my players to celebrate. I want my guy to dance in the end zone after he scores a touchdown. The NFL took that away and quickly brought that back because they saw how that was affecting
I want
their
to see
game.
my guy do a windmill dunk. I want to see my guy throw up the 3 sign after he's nailed it.
That's part of sports, man. That's fun.
In football, in basketball, you see the guys, they see to celebrate, they got to have fun. In baseball,
Do you?
You better. I think you do.
Oh
If
man,
your kid
you love
did it, would you pull your kid? Because I would be like, so if you were out, like,
No
don't
way.
you dare stare at them like that.
I would be twerking on the base pass with them. I'd be running
when
out there doing that.
When Sammy Sosa had the hop skip after a home run, that was awesome.
It's fun, dude.
That is fun.
It's
You
sports,
should be
man.
excited.
I love bat flips.
I
Bat
do
flips
too.
are my favorite part of
That's the
baseball.
weirdest
I
thing.
do too.
I'm all for
I
it
love
too.
bat flips.
I'm all 100% for it. But if my kid did, I'd be like, you are out of your mind if you think you can do this. And that's the thing. They may see it on TV and they may emulate it. I am with you guys 100%. I'm telling you right now, I'm talking on both sides of the mouth because I'd be like, Ben, like he at the back of his neck, he would walk like this because I would move him off the field. Be like, don't you ever stare at a player.
And that's
like that.
because you view baseball from that traditionalist.
But I like the flips.
Lens.
Like
you know
when
what I mean?
Jose Bautista did the flip, like I remember where I was. That's one of my all-time favorite flips.
Dude, that was a
And I'm like, that-
playoff flip
Yes,
too. Of all.
and I'm like, I sat up and was like, holy crap, that was amazing, and I was all for it.
But
so
you
I'm
guys-
not
you
against
But
got
it.
think
some
about
of
this. That's like you saying that they can't celebrate. I mean, one of the biggest celebration home runs of all time, Gibby,
Oh, I love Gibby.
game
yeah.
1,
Yeah,
bottom of the ninth,
88.
home run
Uh huh.
off of
Eck
Eck,
and backdoor
and
slider.
then
Yeah.
as he's rounding the bases. If you're saying he can't do that to me,
The fist pump for
It's just a
for
fist.
people.
It wasn't much.
that was still something. And if you're saying he can't do that and be excited,
Or a pitcher strikes somebody out and they do the fist pump
Yes.
and they scream real loud.
Yeah.
Now people got a problem with that.
CC Sabathia used to
or
do it.
Yeah, they do have a
Zambrano
problem
did
with
it.
that.
somebody grounds out and then he walked in front of the pitcher on his way back to the dugout. We better beat him in the head with a 97-mile-per-hour fastball. You know what?
No,
Come
it's-
on.
I'm with you guys. I'm just saying, like, I would just be like, you guys are out of your, to my kids, you're out of your mind. But again, when you're professional and you're paid and you can do it on the reg, I mean, go for it.
Okay,
To me,
what's one of the
listen-
most popular things for kids right now? What is like
TikTok?
Pokemon.
TikTok, yeah, I like that. Fortnite as well.
Yeah.
And Fortnite and TikTok go hand in hand because on Fortnite, when you do something well, you do this celebration
Yeah,
emote. My
yeah,
kids
they
play
do
it,
the
and they
dance.
do all the TikTok dances, and then TikTok does all the Fortnite dances, and so on and so forth. Kids want to do that. That's how they want to act nowadays. And whether we
Well,
think that's
celebrate
right
and
or
have
wrong,
fun.
it's neither here or there, but it does contribute to them not watching baseball and having a good time because kids are full of energy. They don't want to sit there and relax and chill
That's
on
fair, yeah.
their recliner and watch a slow-paced game. They want to have fun. Like we all made fun of that Nickelodeon football game, right? My kids loved that game. They
Yeah.
thought it was the coolest thing they'd ever seen, and they were really disappointed that the Super Bowl wasn't broadcast like that.
Well, just to roll the clocks back, Jay. And you're like, we don't like dancing. We don't like this now, so everybody's worked
Well, I'm
out.
not footloose.
I'm just saying, yeah, you are. You're kind of you're that dude. You're the dad.
Yeah, you're the
preacher.
dad,
Not
and
Jonathan
T-Roy's.
Lithgow.
Yeah, you are.
T-Roy's.
You are
I'm
not.
Ren.
You are not
I'm Ren
Ren.
McCormick.
You're
Yeah,
so
no
not
bat
Ren.
flipping
You
in this
see
town.
my moves?
You're so not Ren.
see my
He's
dance?
Kevin Bacon.
You're
Thank you.
so not Kevin Bacon. Anyway,
Dude, they used to say that Elvis Presley was dancing too provocatively.
That's right. Yeah.
Come on,
shake those hips.
Did they say that I was
Jay did.
negative 40 years old?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jay was 5. I was 10. But I'm just saying, that's what I'm saying. You're like to say that you're oh man, these kids are doing this. Man, people were saying this 60 years ago.
That's what I'm saying.
You know,
Yeah.
70 years ago.
Make it more fun, and kids will want to participate.
All right, we've gone 35 minutes. We've got to take a break. We got to come back. We're going to talk draft. We're going to tell everyone what they should do. There's I want to pull up the comments though real quick from the Harrington's Pub Facebook comment thread. I think my favorite was from Easer A's that said like he's just kind of over the draft and a bunch of people talking about what they don't know about, and he's absolutely right. It's true,
Yeah,
but the thing is, it's again I've said it. I think 5 straight days on the show, we're going to talk about it ad nauseum because it really is fun, and it's just one of those drafts that are fun. So, and we're
What
going
do you mean
to
we
figure.
don't know what we're talking about?
Well,
We're experts,
I feel like
man.
you guys do, but
We're
yeah.
experts. That's why
Yeah,
we're on
come on,
ESPN
man.
Radio.
Yeah.
He writes for the Left-Hammer God.
That's right.
For
He
darn
does, and he
sake, yeah.
writes for him. Yeah,
I'm a professional
yeah.
journalist.
and that's why we're
man.
here. That's what
I
we're
have
here.
a notepad.
That's what we're here to argue about. Is
Pen and
like
paper.
how to make your team, your franchise better, and what you should do and whatnot, and say exactly what we think is going to happen, so that we can be right or wrong tomorrow. But let's take a break, and we'll be right back here at ESPN 1170 AM. Don't hassle us, we're local.
All right, gents. I need you all three to focus and stop asking people where to get your oil changed on Twitter, okay? No more of that. We have a Locals Loves Guide here in the studio if you need to know where. It has a table of contents to help you find anything that you might need, or go to localsloves.com on your smartphone. You click on Quad Cities and browse your favorites. It's so easy to use. Jay uses it like 3 times a day. No doubt. So make sure you get on and check out our friends from Locals Love Us. They're your guide to the best.
Been earning and burning, snapping necks and cashing.
You like that? You like that? Give me a hell yeah! I said give me a hell yeah!
This is Julian Vandervelde, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
You say you're in the market for a truck or sedan. Maybe your family needs a minivan. Perhaps you just want a little coupe. Well, you can find them all at Weber Auto Group. WeberAutoGroup.com.
Visit Weber Auto Group's brand new showroom in Silvis. They have vehicles based on what you want or need this spring savings season. With over 260 vehicles in stock, ride off in the car of your dreams.
WeberAutoGroup.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Of course, we can help you find some fuel treatment. Right now, we have buy one, get one free on STP Super Concentrated Fuel Injector Cleaner. Plus, AutoZone Rewards members get a $1 bonus reward. Not a member? Don't worry. Joining is easy. And you can even earn an extra $5 bonus reward when you join with a valid email. Getting your job done just got easier. Restrictions apply. See terms at AutoZone.com/rewards.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
All hits all the time.
Let's go commercial free. Even though saying we're going commercial free is technically a commercial for this station. When I say commercial free, I mean no commercials from our sponsors. But saying that is still a commercial of sorts, just to be clear. Okay, now I'm confused. Let's go commercial free. Except for this message about how we're going commercial free.
Maybe commercials about going commercial free just need a Snickers. Snickers satisfies.
All right, is that a Q2 or Q3 expense?
Dwayne's CPA went MIA. To keep his books and his sanity, he needs to find a replacement ASAP.
Hey, Johnny, have you ever heard of a fungible good?
Indeed can help him hire the people he needs.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Your legacy is important. Preparing your final wishes is a lasting gift to family and friends. Lock in and guarantee today's prices while alleviating the burden on your loved ones. Whelan Presley's pre-arrangement policies are guaranteed to be there when needed. You can even begin the pre-arranging process from home. Log on to WhelanPresley.com or contact us to get started. Trusted over 130 years, Whelan Presley Funeral Home and Crematory.
We would be honored and privileged to serve you.
Clay's Cleaning Service has a spotless reputation.
Take care of the windows. Hello, this is Clay.
But his business operations could use a light dusting.
Boy, I had you scheduled for next week. I'll just check here. No, absolutely. We will be there tomorrow.
Indeed can help him hire the people he needs.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Steve Weissman with NFL Network now on the Westwood One Radio Network. The NFL Draft is finally here, but Thursday's round one not the only news. The Panthers were part of another quarterback trade, sending Teddy Bridgewater to Denver for a 6th-round pick. Meantime, AB is staying in TB. The Bucs and Antonio Brown agreed to a new 1-year deal Wednesday. In Dallas, Dak Prescott tells NFL Network his recovery from ankle surgery is going so well, he can now make almost all the throws he'd need to on game day. And despite Russell Wilson's recent public frustration with the Seahawks, which even led to trade rumors, Pete Carroll said Wednesday all is well with his quarterback.
Russ has been our quarterback for a good while, and we've got a long contract with him. And when all of the conversation went about trades and all that, I knew what the truth was. We weren't trading Russell. Russ is in a great place right now. He's been in a great place throughout the offseason. We have communicated throughout all of the things that are going, just like I always have.
This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Napa know-how.
Get a 5-quart jug of Napa full synthetic motor oil and a platinum filter for just $26.48. They're like the only couple you don't mind inviting over. They help you with your car, they save you money, and they never display their affection publicly. That's Napa full synthetic and a platinum filter for $26.48. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
General States pricing. Sales prices not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer ends 4/30/21.
We're all ready for spring. Now's the time to get ready for spring projects with help from the Home Depot. Install a brand new faucet, lay down fresh new flooring, roll on a bright new coat of paint. Need to figure square footage or paint coverage? Our project calculators will do the math. Do it all from our app and get delivery right to your door. Download our mobile app to get started. Bring on spring with innovative help from the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Download our app today to get breaking news sent right to your phone. Never miss a thing. From the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
We are talking draft here on the Don't Hassle Us or Local program today. Thanks for tuning in. AM 1170, live on Facebook. Adrian is in studio along with Merrick Brave. We're having a blast. Jay.
Man, we didn't stop talking about the draft.
know
We
we
were talking
didn't.
about the draft through that entire commercial
That's right.
break.
Now, as I kind of alluded to at the beginning of the show, Jay gave us homework about an hour before the show. He sent us a text, and he said, "Gentlemen, come up with your most outrageous."
Where was everybody when they got that text?
I was at Oscars.
I was laying in bed catching up on the new episodes of The Circle on Netflix.
God, it's such a good show.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Might have been naked hopping in the shower. Exactly.
Hey, I mean, you've thought about it. It's not like something odd where it's like, well, that's an odd question. I mean, you've thought about some of the boldest predictions out there that you may have or whatever else. But it's just a matter of the beauty of this show, and to have all four of us in here is exactly what you would do at happy hour and talk about. What gets you behind that? What makes you think that? Why would you say that? You're out of your mind type of thing. I don't think I have anything that's too bold and crazy, but I mean, I have
got something that's kind of bold and crazy.
All right,
Well,
why
let's
don't you
do it.
shoot?
Let's dive in. Let's go. I'm ready.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I get to give everybody an idea where this is
Sure,
because I think I can yet. So I was talking to you yesterday, and I think
Mhm.
this is maybe where this came from. At one point, the New Orleans Saints, led by Coach Deca, decided they were going to trade every draft pick they had, plus their first and third rounds from the next year
for
a running back named Ricky Williams.
Yep.
And they kept him for 3 years?
I don't know. Ricky liked to roll him and smoke him, okay?
Ricky wanted to be Ricky.
Yeah.
God, I love Ricky Williams.
That had to set the Saints back for quite some time if we think about that in essence. That being said, think about that scenario. Now, we've seen this before out of a certain team out of Chicago where they make some crazy things happen in the draft. getting Mitch Trubisky when they really could have got Mitch Trubisky without making a trade. We all know that.
Oof.
But the Bears, man, they desperately want to make up for that, right? I mean, Ryan Pace wants to make up for that. Desperate.
And he's been mocked all offseason.
Yes, he has. He's bold enough to say this.
Which offseason? Pick a year.
Yeah, ever since.
All off seasons in parentheses.
He goes to the Falcons and says, here's the deal. I'm going to give you our first
at 20,
our second at 52, and our third at 84. And I want year number 4.
Not enough.
You don't think that's enough?
Without a future one, you're not getting the deal done.
Fine, then they'll throw in the one from next year.
And then that's a talking point. That's a starting point.
By the way, that's exactly how negotiations go with the Bears. We're going to offer you this. Sounds good. Can we call you back? Hey, give us X, Y, and Z also. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the Bears make that move.
Yeah.
At 4, they either get, I mean, depending on who the 49ers
Mac
take.
Jones.
But they're going to get one of these 3. Mac Jones, Justin Fields, or Trey Lance.
Oh, boy.
If I'm a Bears fan, I'd rather have Justin Fields or Trey Lance.
I liked.
That's me as a Bears fan.
I liked what Jay was saying off the air before we started this program. I think the Bears trade for Gardner Minshew.
Yes, I'm dumb with this whole thing, and I'm not.
Jay,
I'm going to die
but
on
Gardner
this.
Minshew is not taking you to the promised land.
Oh, he's getting mustache rides left and right.
Why would Jacksonville be drafting Trevor Lawrence if they already had the promised land quarterback
New
in
coach,
their
new
house?
regime. They want something else.
Generational talent.
I'll tell you something.
Nobody's beating down the door to get Gardner Minshew.
You are not mortgaging your future for the number 4 overall pick in the 2021 NFL draft. You're not.
Last quarterback to win a Super Bowl for the Bears.
Last quarterback? It's the punky QB.
McMahon.
Yes.
Who do you compare Gardner Minshew to, at least in style?
The punky QB. That's what I said. I want the punky QB.
He's going to need
It's
Willie
time to go.
Gault. He's going to need Richard Dent, Mike Singletary.
It's in the draft.
Mongo Manekli.
They're
It's
in the draft.
not in the draft.
They're in the draft.
Those guys are not in
They're
this
there.
draft.
You want to build? That's what the whole draft is for. What are you
if they
building?
have-
Are
if
you
they have pick
drafting
1 through
value,
10
or are you drafting for the franchise future? What are you doing? The Bears are not trading all that for the number 4 overall pick in the 2021 draft.
You said come up with something bold.
I'm with you. I'm saying that's.
Okay.
Listen, do 4 friends sit around and piss on each other about their dumb ideas? Absolutely.
Depends on what kind of friends you have.
Well, you better have the right friends.
Don't pee on me.
If you have a bunch of guys that are agree and be like, oh yeah, that sounds great, good take, whatever.
One of the screens froze, FYI.
Okay, so anyway, I'll fix it. Anyway,
all right.
I do think Atlanta needs to trade that. I just don't know what the partner is.
Well, can I give you my
Would you be
bold
surprised
prediction?
if the Bears do make that trade? Would anybody be surprised if that happened? Something similar.
I would be. I think for the number 4 pick, you're not going there.
It
also depends who's there.
Do they?
If for some reason,
if it's Lance or Fields, no. I mean, you're a Bear fan, right?
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I'm just saying. Like I know you don't want Andy Dalton. I know how that feels. I had it last year. Because of injury, but I didn't want it.
Oh, you should have seen the arguments I was getting into over Andy Dalton and Teddy Bridgewater yesterday after the show.
How?
Like everybody was just telling me how much better Bridgewater is than Dalton could ever possibly be. And I'm like, the stats aren't even close. Dalton's been a far better quarterback his entire career than Bridgewater has ever has.
Yeah.
No. The Bridgewater ones are like 22. Sorry, and this is off the top of my head. It's something like 22 touchdowns, 18 interceptions. He's 0-8 in one-score games, although he covers spread. That's the thing I've always talked about Teddy Two Gloves. He covers spread. He's 0-8 in one-score games. He is not that good of a quarterback. I'm sorry. He's just not. The thing about Teddy Two Gloves is the front office of the Denver Broncos, what is it, the Herd Gang or Herd Nation? Someone corrected me the other day. The guys that are now the GM, because Elway's not calling the shots, and there's another guy in the front office, were also part of the Minnesota Vikings front office when they drafted
him.
Teddy Two Gloves. And kind of like the same thing with the Detroit Lions. The guy is still stuck on, he was in charge, the GM of the Lions was in charge of
Jared Goff.
Yeah, in charge of the scouting, drafting, and he wants to stick to, I traded for Jared Goff. I'm going to trade for him. I still believe in what I'm doing. So Teddy Two Gloves is just coming back to, it's chickens coming home to roost to be like, well, we believed in it then, and we feel like we're confident in what's going on. I'm sorry. Gardner Minshew is a better quarterback than Teddy Two Gloves.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's not saying much.
No, it's not saying much.
No,
And trust me, the
Then, all
argument
right, then,
yesterday
then,
with Andy
then,
Dalton, I mean,
then, which is going to lead us into Denver. What are you doing? Because they're going to be
trying to draft a quarterback. Still.
And then I'm back to well before I was like, I don't know. Now the thing about the Bears is this: every time I think about them trading up, I realize I have not put enough effort into figuring out if they have the draft capital to trade up.
I don't think they do.
And I don't,
especially to
and I
Florida.
don't know any better.
That being said, I want to hear what Merrick has.
Okay.
Well, you mentioned Atlanta maybe looking to trade out of the number 4 spot. Interesting, on Twitter right now, I've been scrolling as we've been on the air. There's a lot of chatter about, no, we want Kyle Pitts. They're making it very, very known that with pick number 4, if they stay there, they're taking Kyle Pitts. There's no benefit to releasing that information unless you are screaming at other teams right now, come and make us an offer. You want Pitts? Get up to number 4. You want a quarterback? Get up to number 4 because we are willing to move that pick. I'm a Miami Dolphins fan. That is a very well-known fact. I think Miami may be interested in trading pick 6 to move up 2 spots to pick 4 so they can guarantee themselves the best talent outside of maybe Trevor Lawrence in this draft in Kyle Pitts. I think the Dolphins will offer at the very least a third, maybe a third and a fourth next year to move up to number 4. I think they'd be willing to offer as high as a number 2, a round 2 draft pick in this year's draft to move up to number 4. They do have 2 second-round picks this year. Atlanta moves back 2 spots. I think Atlanta wants a quarterback. I think Arthur Blank wants Justin Fields, who's from Georgia, to sell some jerseys and sell some tickets, and I think they're looking towards the future. Why do I think that? Because if you're saying that Julio Jones is available in a trade, you're not in win-now mode. If you're in win-now mode, you want Calvin Ridley on one side, you want Julio Jones on the other side, you want Kyle Pitts at tight end. But if you're going to trade or you're willing to trade Julio Jones, you're trying to stockpile picks for future years, which indicates to me that you are not all in right now on Matt Ryan. Do they trade Matt Ryan if they draft Justin Fields? I don't think so. I think they let Fields sit at least for a year, maybe even 2 years. Go the Aaron Rodgers route and let him develop. But I think there's contradicting ideas there. And if you're saying we're definitely taking Kyle Pitts on draft day, what you're really saying is make us an offer. We want to move back. So the safest spot for them to move back, yet still guarantee that they're going to get Justin Fields, is at number 6 with Miami, because Miami goes up to 4. They take Pitts. They're not taking a quarterback. Cincinnati's not taking a quarterback. Now, they could trade out of that spot, but that's only one team that they would have to worry about. I think Cincinnati stays put and either takes Chase or Sewell. I think Atlanta takes Justin Fields at 6. That's my bold prediction.
Guys, Adrian, T-Roy, I'm actually buying every share of stock into that take. What do you guys think about that?
I hope it happens.
I mean, well, you said come up with bold. That just makes sense. That's not really bold.
No, but I'm saying, and
no,
it's fine.
but yeah, that,
there's nothing
so
about it.
I
I'm
agree
just
with
saying
you.
it is enough
It's
to
something
talk
I
about.
can actually see happening tonight.
Right.
I'm actually buying stock into that one 100%. Yeah, I know it's not bold or whatever else, but it's a
makes
smart
sense.
move. It's a smart
And I
move.
think,
Obviously, like I said, I've said it on the air. I've said it for I don't know how many days in a row. I think Atlanta should trade out of it. It works for the Dolphins. They have the draft stock. It's good for the Dolphins. You're getting a generational, what they call a generational talent, probably the surefire Hall of Famer in the draft that people are saying. And Atlanta now gets to move back. They get to build a little bit.
Let me throw this out.
I've got another one.
Hold on.
If you're saying that one's not bold enough, I do have another bold one.
I'm saying it's fine, but it's 12:53, and I got to take a break. So we'll come right back, and we're only going to take a short one, maybe about 3 minutes. Yeah, yep. It's nuts.
Locally owned and operated since 1934, Tri-City Equipment has been your source for restaurant equipment and value ever since. If you're looking to cater an event or a gift for your home chef, try them online at tricityequipment.com or stop down to 527 West 4th Street in Davenport. Remember, they deliver to all Quad City residents and match online pricing. So call them today, 563-322-5382. Showroom hours, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. That's Tri-City Equipment, 527 West 4th Street in Davenport.
We're streaking! We're going up through the quad to the gymnasium. There's more coming.
Frank, get in the car.
Everybody's doing it.
You like that? You like that?
said give me a hell yeah!
Hey, this is Goose, PA announcer for the Quad City Storm, and you're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
If you own a small business, you know how hard it can be to find new customers. Now, Town Square has new tools that can help your business stand out and grow today. Go to getlocalcustomersnow.com for a free local market competitive analysis that will show you what other businesses in town are doing to find new customers and how you can do it too with Town Square. Plus, be one of the first business owners to sign up with Town Square and receive $500 in free advertising on this radio station. Start growing your business today. Visit getlocalcustomersnow.com. Getlocalcustomersnow.com.
Davenport and Moline, get ready. 20 ribeyes for $35. Fishers of Men Foods is bringing you a meat sale you don't want to miss. At North Park Mall Davenport behind Firestone and South Park Mall Moline behind Olive Garden. Just look for the big truck and tent. It's a gigantic steak, seafood, chicken, and pork meat blowout sale happening now for a limited time. You'll also find mega ribeye porterhouse, T-bone jumbo shrimp, fillets, lobsters, pork ribs, pork chops, even top quality chicken breast. And of course, 20 ribeyes for $35. It's all happening in North Park Mall Davenport behind Firestone and South Park Mall Moline behind Olive Garden. Hurry and fill your freezer with quality meat, pork, seafood, and chicken just in time for grilling season. This sale won't last long, and while you're there, ask about their whole cow and half cow specials. It's this year's gigantic meat sale, only happening in North Park Mall behind Firestone and South Park Mall behind Olive Garden. 20 ribeyes for $35, cash, credit, or debit card. See you today.
Janae and Golick Jr.
Milwaukee built this up the right way. They built it around the superstar and built it as well as you could have, but this is starting to look more and more, should they fall short this year, like Milwaukee becoming a fancy, high-powered version of the Toronto Raptors before Kawhi got there. Meaning you can be the number one seed in the Eastern Conference during the regular season, and you're going to hit an understandable ceiling. Like, they ran into that LeBron James ceiling for years, and for Milwaukee, Giannis may have chosen a bad time to put up in the Eastern Conference and say, I'm going to make my home here, when all of a sudden James Harden and these guys came and decided to make Brooklyn their home.
People want to win now, and at some point, the criticism is going to come to Giannis, unfortunately, because he's been that successful so early. And so, like, well, when are you going to win? Hopefully it's this year, because then it'll quiet all those critics. But I don't know about that with Brooklyn out there and Joel Embiid out there. I don't know about that, though.
Janae and Golick Jr., 3 to 6 on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
Shop the Tyson Spectacular Spring Sale now through May 9th. Save on great products from trusted brands including Scott's, Miracle-Gro, Preen, and Bonide. Have the best-looking lawn with savings on products from AgriFab, Husqvarna, Troy-Bilt, and Steel, and more. Our greenhouses are in full bloom with savings on mix-and-match bedding and vegetables, roses, hydrangeas, and more. Tyson's is your one-stop shop for all your lawn and garden needs. Visit one of our family-owned stores and garden centers today. Tyson's, home, farm, auto.
Dreaming about new landscaping or some updates to your home? Since you've seen so much of both this year, then get to the Home and Garden Show at the QCCA Expo Center, April 30th through May 2nd. It's 2 shows in one. The QCCA Expo Center and QCBR have joined together to bring you inspiration for your backyard retreat, including landscape equipment, lawn care solutions, and garden decor. Plus great ideas on home improvement and remodeling from some of the Quad City's best. Sponsored in part by Mid-America Basement Systems and CBI Bank and Trust. Get more information and advance tickets at QCCAExpoCenter.com.
It's time to rise and grind. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin.
Even if you weren't playing the best, which Mitchell Trubisky was not at the beginning of the year, even though the defense was stepping up their game to a different level and making him look decent, you're still undefeated. I don't understand why you get benched for Nick Foles at that time. And we're seeing it across multiple landscapes of different teams. When that relationship becomes fractured, that's hard to get back. And I think that relationship between Trubisky and Matt Nagy, the way Matt Nagy handled that with a guy like Nick Foles, that he brought in to say, hey, let's steal this thunder, I don't think you just get that back. So for anybody's like, oh, why we sign Andy Dalton? We could have got Mitchell Trubisky. I'm sitting there saying, if I'm Mitchell Trubisky, I don't want to go back to Chicago. Clearly. Why do I want to go back to Matt Nagy? I want nothing to do with you. You go ahead and you take all that bad karma and you keep it right there.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Mornings on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
Looking for a job with a stable company where hard work and good attitudes are rewarded with advancement opportunities? XPAC in Milan, Illinois, the Quad Cities' leading logistics provider, has immediate openings on the first and second shifts. Start your career and enjoy attendance incentives, great benefits, and teamwork that makes a difference. Make XPAC your new work family. Apply online at xpac.com. That's XPAC.com. XPAC is an equal opportunity employer.
This is Josh Sides, head coach, St. Ambrose University Esports. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're
If
Local.
you own a small business, you know how hard it can be to find new customers. Now, Town Square has new tools that can help your business stand out.
All right, we are back, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Don't Hassle Us, a local AM 1170. Live on Facebook if you're out there watching. Good to see you.
Anyway, we just watched a nice little OJ Twitter.
You gotta say OJ on Twitter.
Hey,
world.
Twitter world.
Hey, Twitter world. I'm just saying, wear your mask, do whatever else. I think he wants him to take Justin Fields. Somehow he tries to convince every.
So he grew up in San Francisco, so
he said on his video that he has been to every game since he was 8 years old, which I was like, you are lying out of your.
I like how close
couldn't have went when you were in the NFL.
I like how close
Or
his
in
face is to
prison.
the camera.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, like that typical
Yes,
old guy
do some
picture.
prison time. And then he didn't he finish his career as a 49er?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, he did. He was on the Bills and then on there. All right, so we're out on the draft.
Finished his career at Folsom.
What do we have next? What did you say?
Said he finished his career at Folsom.
Who's up? What do we have on it for our predictions? Is it you, Adrian?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
got
Oh, yeah.
just something nobody's talking about. You
Okay.
know, everybody keeps going with the 49ers there. Obviously, we're picking a quarterback.
Mhm.
Everybody's saying Mac Jones, Trey
Okay.
Lance, one of the two.
Okay.
Justin Fields goes number 3 overall to the Niners.
I think they were smoke screening everybody.
They've kind of been quiet over the last few drafts. You know, they smoke screen the Bears into coming up and taking
Yeah.
Mitch. So what happens after that? If that happens, I like the Eagles trading this year's first round, and I believe they have 3 first-round picks next year, or 2.
If
or
Carson
something.
Wentz plays X amount of snaps in
They're gonna have
Indianapolis.
3.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Then they take the first-round pick next year, and they go up and they take the Atlanta Falcons pick.
Go up to 4.
Go up to 4 and take the Atlanta Falcons pick instead of
And who are they drafting at 4?
Trey Lance.
And
The
where does-
Eagles?
Yep.
They're going to move on from Hurts?
Right away.
Ooh, boy.
And who does
They've got a new
Mac
coach.
Jones fall to?
I think that the Bengals swap out with the 9 with the Broncos, and Mac Jones goes to
1
the
through
Broncos.
5 are going quarterback?
1 through 5.
Yeah,
Boy,
that's boy.
That's spicy. I like it.
Lose our
1 through
minds.
5.
Oh, and then
All of them.
Miami at 6 has their pick of the litter.
And they didn't have to move out at all.
Pick of the litter.
Nope, they take whoever they want.
And I do say Pitt's probably the obvious choice.
Mm-hmm.
But another prediction I have is Pitt's falling to 10.
Oh God.
To 10, and the Dallas
You
Cowboys
excited
do
over here, T-Roy?
absolutely nothing for their defense. And go ahead and take Pitts over at 10.
That is a legitimate call, too. I'm
I know.
telling you right now.
The
Jerry
fact that
Jones.
they always pick the talent.
He is.
Okay.
He
Makes
is.
me wanna throw up.
That is a
And the
Jerry
Eagles
Jones
even-
pick in a
yeah.
heartbeat.
And I think with the Eagles,
You
doing
like it or you don't like it?
All right, here's the deal.
If that happens, if Pitts drops to 10, we got to do something crazy tomorrow on air. Like eat like the spiciest peppers that we can find or something. Just something crazy.
Yeah.
If they take Pitts at 10, we're doing
T-Roy, I was going to leave my Cowboys prediction out of this until you brought up the Bears. Today.
Sorry.
You started right off with the
Wait,
Bears.
so
You
T-Roy,
came right after us.
Pitts at 10, yes or no? Would you be happy?
As a educated fan, that's terrible for them to do. You're absolutely right when Adrian, you say they don't try to do anything to fix the defense. We don't really need help on the offense. Dalton Schultz got it done last year, I believe, is the guy.
Yeah.
Blake Jarwin, one of the two.
I think it was
one
Schultz.
got hurt and
Yeah,
Schultz
Jarwin
came
got
in.
hurt, yeah.
Got the job done because they have so many damn weapons. Do we need another weapon? I don't know. That's a lot of mouths
Well,
to feed.
T-Roy,
Granted,
let me remind you
Okay.
that next year there will also be an NFL draft.
Yes, yes, there will be.
And let me remind you,
can they get,
all you have to do is just score more points than the other team in the NFC East.
Yeah, if you win every game 45-44, you're undefeated, baby.
That's right. And that makes my heart explode. I already have high blood pressure. Listen, man, is it neat to think about? It's neat to think about if you think that they have what they need on defense, and I don't think they do. Can they? I want them to spend 2 of the first 3 picks on defense. I'm sorry, it's just me.
Is that Jerry Jones's way?
I think he's seen it. I think he is, guys. I mean, everything I'm reading from the people that are insiders down in Dallas, they feel that it's going to be the first 3 are going to be defense and with a mix of offensive line tackle in there, because they know they have an aging right tackle or left tackle.
Do you think
whatever the blind side is, guy, is it Tyron Smith?
Now, are these just people talking? Because we need to hear what Jerry's saying.
Well, Jerry's
saying he loves.
Jerry said he loves Kyle Pitts, but Jerry also said, "Well, I like him, but I'm not infatuated with anyone."
Because now he has to dial it back.
I think Kyle Pitts will look good in a Cowboy uniform.
I want to know. Then is Atlanta's chatter today? Oh, we're definitely taking Pitts. We're definitely taking Pitts. A way to counteract what you just said about Pitts dropping maybe to 10, which I don't think would happen, but they're saying, hey, we're definitely taking him as a way to send a smoke signal to Jerry and say, you want Pitts? You give us 10, you give us next year's 1, come up and get him.
I think it's up. I think anyone would be smart to do it.
If Dallas is trading up, they're trading up into the end of the first as well. They're not trading up from 10. That's my thought.
No, I think Dallas is going to hold tight.
I think they hold tight. I think what they want, they either want Surtain or Horn. They want either one. They're, from what I'm understanding from the insiders, it's a 50-50 split in the war room right now.
You are an insider.
Man, both of those guys have NFL bloodlines. Obviously, Pat Surtain Jr., his dad played for the Dolphins. Joe Horn is J.C. Horn's dad, wide receiver for the Saints. A couple of good players there.
So let's go.
You got one? You got one, Jay? You got a bold prediction, Jay?
I want to keep talking about this at 3.
Okay.
The Justin Fields, which I was in on, and now I'm back out. I'm in on
You got to look at the betting lines. I think that's where it's at, though.
And right now, it is Mac Jones.
Yeah.
This is coming out from ESPN.com. If you actually look at it, even though they usually play their cards close to the vest, with the 49ers, they actually also in the past have kind of given out who they like overall in the first round. Now, that being said, we can poo-poo all over the Bears and what the 49ers did with that for the Mitch Trubisky, but we do not give enough credit to the 49ers of who they drafted with that pick for the Trubisky. And they drafted Solomon Thomas.
That did not work out.
It did not work out. So we've given the 49ers way too much credit for everything they've done. And we give them the whole thing of like...
I mean, they did go to a Super Bowl.
It is... They did. They lost. And then they... Yes, and you can sit there and say that it's injuries, COVID, and SoFi Stadium, whatever else, not playing there.
Well, we can look at this even from another angle if you're talking about the 49ers.
If they continue...
Last year, they made 2 trades, Jay.
If they continue to do the way that they've done it, it will be Mac Jones.
I think it will be, because everything they've said over the last couple days has almost been prepping their fan base for this quote-unquote letdown that they believe they're about to give them, because their fan base has been very vocal that they don't want Mac Jones. And so if you watch the interviews that Shanahan's done and that John Lynch have done, they clearly understand that they're about to disappoint their fan base. So unless they're great actors, which, maybe they are, I really do think it's Mac Jones there. And I think most of us would agree that's probably the wrong decision.
I think my only bold, and it's not that bold, I think there will be 3 trades within the first 10 picks. I think 4 is going to be traded. I think 7 is going to be traded. And I think 8 is going to be traded. Those are mine. I think the Atlanta Falcons should trade out of the 4 and build draft capital.
Do you got any idea who's coming up?
I think the Patriots will jump in at 4, 7, or 8. Will be one of the major players in there.
That scares me, but I think you're right.
I think the Washington football team will be a major player in the
Patriots
4, 7, or 8.
have so many draft picks. I think you're right.
Let me throw this at you.
Sure.
You tell me if these were great trades last year by San Francisco. They had the 13th overall.
Okay.
They traded it to Tampa Bay to the 14. So they just swapped picks.
Mhm.
Tampa Bay takes Tristan Wirfs. San Fran takes Javon Kinlaw. Kinlaw didn't really pan out. He would have been the 14th overall pick. All right, they also had the 31st overall pick. They traded up to 25 with Minnesota, and they took Brandon Ayuk.
Who the Dolphins were going to take if San Francisco didn't take him. I like Ayuk. I really do like Ayuk, and I think him on the field with Deebo Samuel at the same time, that's going to be a nice little two-headed monster there.
I think it will pan out. I think a lot of the problems last year was Jimmy G getting hurt.
Yep.
Now, granted, I don't know if he's the answer or whatever else, but
Well, he's certainly not.
He's definitely better than
Not in their eyes, at least.
So
he's certainly better than his backups.
Again, for the, I don't know, 12 49er fans out there in the Quad Cities.
Leave C.J. Beathard out of this.
Well, I love C.J. Beathard, but
Bosa went in 2019.
Right, Bosa was great.
That was good.
Great pick.
Before that, they took
hard to
Mike
mess that one up.
McGlinchey, 2018.
McGlinchey's been good.
Yep. You already brought up Javon Kinlaw. I
mean, let's not forget our boy George Kittle, who got drafted in the 5th round.
That's a different story. When you can do that, those are the things we will applaud you for. That's the same thing we talk about the Steelers. Like, how do they find these wide receivers? Well, obviously they're doing something right in their war room, their draft room, their front office,
and their coaches.
But it's the first round is the one. I mean, sorry, no one's. I know it's a 3-day event or whatever else. The only person you're paying attention to after second round is Mr. Irrelevant. Just to be like, oh, this person is less pick.
They got
I
Chase
am watching
Claypool in
every
the 3rd
second of
round
this
last
draft.
year. And arguably, Chase Claypool was the second best rookie receiver in the draft. Behind Justin Jefferson, he had some great games. And I would say he performed a little bit better than CeeDee Lamb, who still had a great
I'll tell you what. As a Dolphins fan, I'll be very excited if the 49ers take Mac Jones and then trade Jimmy Garoppolo, because the Dolphins own the 49ers' 3rd round pick next year and their 1st round pick 2 years from now. So if you take Mac Jones and he doesn't pan out, like, most of us think he won't, and, it's a crapshoot, maybe he'll be great, especially in Shanahan's system. That'll benefit my team, so I'm all for it. Go for it. Take your boy.
I do not think Mac Jones.
What does Shanahan want? Does Shanahan want a quarterback that's slightly mobile?
He wants a quarterback to do exactly what he tells him to do.
Yeah.
And to Mac Jones's credit, he is graded as the first quarterback in this draft, as the highest rated quarterback in this draft at maneuvering within the pocket.
I told you.
Well, here's the deal.
He comes from a tennis background.
All right, but where did Shanahan have his most success?
Atlanta.
And who was his quarterback?
Jones.
Matty Ice.
Matty Ice,
What's Matty Ice?
Yeah.
He's
Matty,
mobile in the pocket. Large body, mobile in the pocket.
It could pan out.
What
could
is
work.
Mac Jones?
We don't know. He has weapons
He
there.
can move side to side. He comes from the tennis background.
He's
done.
What I'm getting at. He's mobile in the pocket.
Yeah.
He's not. He doesn't want a guy that's going out and doing, let's say, the Patrick Mahomes
I got another bold prediction. This is another Dolphin-centric bold prediction. I think Miami will trade up from 36 back into the 1st round, and they will make 3 first-round picks for the 2nd consecutive year in a row. And I don't know if any team can say that. I don't know if that's ever happened in NFL history.
Where?
I think they take.
No, but who's answering that phone call and doing it?
They're trading their 36 to who for what?
I don't know who they're trading to who for what, but I think they're moving back. I mean, there's plenty of teams that could do that. Tampa Bay could move back. Green Bay might move back. There's plenty of teams that could be interested in doing that. But I think Miami is going either receiver or Penei Sewell at 6. I think they're taking an edge player at 18, and then I think they're going to trade back into the last 5-6 picks in the 1st round and grab themselves a running back. Whether that's Harris, if he's still there, I doubt he will be. But I think you're looking at Etienne or Javonte Williams at that spot.
You're saying if they don't take Harris at 18,
which I don't think they will,
and you don't think at 36 one of those two is available?
I think they're going to ensure themselves that they get the running back they want, and I also think they're very interested in the 5th-year option that you get with first-round picks, especially at that running back position. So you don't have to sign these players to these big contract extensions. You get to run the tread off the tires for 5 years, and then you move on.
All right, so I like where your head's at here. All right, so if you're the Dolphins, and you're picking at 18, okay, and you don't go Harris right then, but you know the Steelers are taking him at 24.
Yeah.
So we're looking at 22, 23. That's what you're gonna have to jump up to.
Everybody's saying the Jets are not taking a running back at 23 too. By the way.
Then who's at 22? Who's at
Tennessee, Indianapolis, Chicago.
I don't think Miami trades up that high. I think they're willing to go with ETN or Javonte Williams. I think they want him in the first round.
Okay,
for that
so
fifth-year option.
they're going to allow the Steelers to take Harris, and then they're going to take Etienne.
I think either Etienne or Javonte Williams, but I think they would be interested in Etienne just because of his home run speed, and they need speed on that offense. They don't have it right now.
I like the
Outside of Will
mention
Fuller.
of the fifth-year option. That is so intelligent.
It's
That's
a bigger deal. It's
I think that's really important for
deal.
quarterbacks. I think that's really important for running backs.
Okay,
for different reasons.
Do the Bears pick at 20?
God, that's a tough call because I could see a trade, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say they stay put.
Adrian?
Yeah, they're staying put. Grabbing an offensive lineman.
They haven't had a lot of draft picks in the last few years.
I have them taking an O-lineman
right there
in my mock. And if the guy that I have them is available, that's a great pick for the Bears, Elijah Vera Tucker. If they can get Elijah Vera Tucker, that's huge.
Especially the way I have the draft going with the first 5 quarterbacks going off right away. Obviously, in the first 10 picks, I think they're all gone.
I think in their eyes they would love it, but I
they don't
think
have enough to get up there.
I think they're holding out for second round. I think they're taking Kyle Trask. They're looking at he's going to fall right to him at 52.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm.
Where do you think they go?
Who, the Bears?
Yeah.
I do think it's not going to be. I think it's going to be a 20. I think it's going to be offensive lineman. I don't think it's going to be anything sexy or
Here's a
anything
caveat:
like that.
if Justin Fields slides out of the top 10 picks, I think they would be interested in jumping ahead of New England, because if you're at 20 and you only need to trade up to 13 or 14, if either of those teams are willing to trade back, then you don't have to give up as much. You can give up a future. You can give up like a second or a third this year, and then a future second.
You'll have to get to 12, though, because isn't Washington at 13?
Let's check.
Right around there.
Chargers are
Chargers
13.
Washington's at 2019.
At 19.
Yeah,
so
you
they
have to move up, yeah.
they would only have to jump up to either 13 with the Chargers or 14 with the Vikings.
To get what?
To get ahead of New England or Washington if Justin Fields slips, like some people are predicting he will. I don't think they do it for Mac Jones, but if Justin Fields is there, then possibly. But that could be a moot point because somebody could have already traded in the top 10 to snatch him at that point.
God, I almost want to change my mock right now.
It's crazy, right? That's what we were talking about at the beginning of this show. Is it's in years past you've been able to predict with some certainty what's going to happen. This year there are so many wild cards. After those first 2 picks, you can't say with certainty what any team's going to do.
No, it is. We just had Alex Stroff on, and he's like, get your popcorn, get your drinks, pour your drink, get a stiff one going, whatever, 1 and 2, and then get ready because 3 and 4 is going to go
I had
nuts.
a stiff one going this morning.
I know you probably did. I did. As soon as I said that, I wish it came out of my mouth. I was like, I wish I would not have said that. Or whatever else. I was actually talking about it. I thought I was actually
pitch softball right there.
I was talking about a stiff cocktail.
And you're fully vaccinated now too.
Yeah,
right?
yes, I am.
So you can get stiff with whoever you want.
That's right.
So,
as long as my wife doesn't get mad at me.
So let me throw this out at you real quick because we are talking about bold, and my friend, a friend of the show, a friend of ours, the Stockpile, has a few things. Okay.
Stockpile gold here, guys.
Yeah, he shared with me. Obviously, he knows the same thing about what one is, but he says he's got 6 quarterbacks will go in the first round. Lawrence to the Jags, Wilson to the Jets, Mac Jones to 49ers, the Detroit Lions will take Trey Lance, the Vikings will take Justin Fields, and the Buccaneers will take Kellen Mond.
Kellen Mond in the first. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Backing up Brady for a year or 2.
He does agree with everybody that Dallas is going to go with Patrick Surtain the second. But if he says if he goes before Dallas can pick, then the Cowboys should trade down to get more capital. He said he would call the Ravens, the Jaguars, and the Jets for the first. Those would be the first 3 he would call. He does agree that Dallas has to go defense in this. This is the Stockpile. And finally, the Bears. Stockpile says Chicago has to draft smart and use its resources in a responsible manner. They do not do that, by the way, Adrian. Sorry.
Good luck.
Look for the Bears to draft the best available lineman in the first round. He said he would stay away from Tevin Jenkins, look more like Christian Darrisaw. He said the Bears will look to draft an edge rusher, may also look to draft an edge rusher. The Bears might trade up in the second round for Davis Mills. the Bears 52nd pick, and he says, I sense New England might nab Mills with the 46, so he's kind of worried about that. Bears could offer second and third, allow for flexibility as 4 picks in the 6th round, and maybe offer 2 of those picks with the 2nd round to get in front of the Patriots. He says, I could also see the Bears trading down to 3rd round to add another 3rd round pick and a 4th round pick. There's a lot to unpack there about the Bears, but responsible manner and drafting for the Bears is not. That's like asking the Vikings to manage the time clock for the draft.
I got something for you.
Sure.
That I'm just reading on Twitter now.
Sure.
This is for our listeners who are Packers fans. What do we make of this Tom Pelissero report that on Wednesday, the 49ers reached out to the Packers to see if they'd be interested in trading Aaron Rodgers? This is NFL Network's Tom Pelissero report. Are you gone, T-Roy? You taking off?
I'm just making sure that Erickson's okay.
What is, there's
Erickson
no
just
way.
died.
37 years old, from the Bay Area, 1 year after the Packers drafted a quarterback in the 1st round. The Packers said no. They rebuffed the offer. But what do you make of that? The 49ers, and what would they have given up?
You don't have it. I'm sorry. You do not have it for Aaron Rodgers. You do not have the draft capital.
They don't. They have the 3 overall, so we'd have to start there because you don't have a first-round pick next year. You don't have a first-round pick the year after that.
It's not there. It's just not there.
So did you think they just offered number 3 overall?
And Jimmy G.
Maybe Garoppolo, maybe some other players.
Maybe another. What else do they have over there? They can't really.
They have O-line.
In San Francisco,
they're deep on O-line.
They got some defensive help. They got
they just
Kittle.
signed Williams, the offensive tackle.
Kittle and Robert Tonyan are like best friends. So who knows? Maybe, I don't know. I'm just saying. Not my report. Don't shoot the messenger. This comes from Tom
I'm saying you
Pelissero.
don't have no team. I'm sorry. There is not one.
Jay
Other
Glazer
team,
is reporting
31 of those that have the capital for Aaron Rodgers.
Jay Glazer is reporting that a few teams have called the Packers about Aaron Rodgers.
You
Could you see something happen?
I guarantee you, guys, I'm going to throw this out at you. If we're all in a fantasy league, I'm calling you for the dumbest trades ever, too.
We all
I've been in
talked
Jay's
about
fantasy leagues. He does call you with the dumbest trades ever.
I do too.
He gets
I do
mad
too.
if he doesn't call
But
you.
what I'm saying is, we already talked about this being the craziest draft in NFL history. Coming down tonight, what makes it even crazier?
Do you
is if Aaron
want
Rodgers gets traded?
300,000 owners yelling at you about trading Aaron Rodgers?
Did they want 300,000 owners yelling to them about drafting Aaron Rodgers when they had
did.
Brett
They
Favre?
said they did say they had the
They
problem.
don't stick with conventional wisdom. Aaron Rodgers wants to host Jeopardy. He wants to do that while playing football, which means he's going to be split in 2 different directions there. He has been lukewarm talking about finishing his career in Green Bay.
I hate that you're making sense of this. I
love
hate
you,
that you're
Jeopardy.
I hate that you're making sense of this.
I'm just saying, if a team in the top 10 who's interested in a quarterback says you get this pick this year and then our first round pick next year, now it can't be San Francisco. Does Green Bay think about it?
That's still not enough.
Guess who wants this trade more than anybody? Bears.
Oh yeah, yeah, 100%.
Let's just start about what would it take to get Aaron Rodgers?
I think Aaron Rodgers takes a top 10 pick this year, a first round pick next year. He's 37, so you got to factor that into the equation. He's expensive and he's 37. I think you're looking at a minimum of 2 first round picks over the next couple years, and then you're probably also adding in a second round pick and a third round pick. I think that gets the conversation started, and then from there you can probably chip in some of your blue chip players there, depending on which team you're offering.
If we're in the front office, it would start there, and I would say, guys, we need to actually have this talk. They're offering a first and second this year.
And you already have Rodgers' replacement, so you don't have to draft a quarterback.
I'd say, guys, we have to have this conversation. It's not an easy one to have. But they're offering a first and second in 2021. They're offering a first and third of 2022.
Denver at 9. Hypothetical team. Denver at 9 says you can have the number 9 overall pick this year, our first, second, and third round picks next year. You already have Jordan Love on your roster, 1 year in the system. Rodgers is 37 and expensive, and has been lukewarm on finishing his career in Green Bay during every interview this offseason.
Counterpoint.
Okay.
Jesus pleases.
I think Denver's actually going to be a good team next year. and I think they're going to make the playoffs.
And they've done it before. They've added an aging veteran quarterback who's won them a Super Bowl.
So that means that your first rounder next year is probably going to be somewhere in the teens, higher teens.
Sure.
All right, in the 20s.
Could be.
That's where my pause starts. Like, is our one really worth it?
That's why we're chipping in picks 2 and 3, and you can take one of our receivers because you need one. You want KJ Hamler? You want Cortland Sutton? You want Jerry Jeudy? Pick one. He's
Noah
yours.
Fant?
Pick one. Take him.
Say that again.
You get our number 9 overall pick this year,
Yeah.
our first round pick next year, our second round pick next year,
Sure.
our third round pick next year, and you get to pick either Cortland Sutton, KJ Hamler, or Jerry Jeudy. Take them. We want Rodgers.
You have me sold. Get him out of the division. Get him out of the division right now.
Hey,
you don't have
if
to
any
preach to me
NFL
here.
if any NFL teams are listening right now, I am open for GM opportunities here in the future. I would love that. That'd be great.
I'm not saying no to that.
That's tough. He's 37 and he's expensive. And Green Bay they've shown us they are willing to move on from a quarterback a year or two early instead of a year or two late.
He makes you a Super Bowl contender right away.
And it makes sense for Denver as well.
Sense for Denver.
They have
all
a
the way
great defense, and Aaron Rodgers plays well in the cold, which is an important factor for Denver. I think it makes sense for both teams. Do I think it's going to happen? Absolutely not.
No.
But you'd have to think about it. You'd have to think about it.
Who do they want?
And then as Denver, you can trade Drew Lock. You can get a 3rd or 4th round pick for Drew Lock.
The amount of cojones it takes for Green Bay to pull that off is
kind of
insane.
Love it, though. Wouldn't that be so fun?
Wouldn't it be though? You would have that dumb like Vince McMahon walk if it worked out.
Yeah,
Coming out there, just a swagger and be like, I did it. You're right, I did it.
Oh,
I don't
how
care.
bad for that fan base would it be if it didn't work out at all? Like everything just went. They didn't win a game next year.
It's gonna be
guy.
It's gonna be tough for me as a Dolphins fan to feel bad for a franchise that's had 25 consecutive years of awesome QB play.
Yeah.
But you never know.
They need some time off.
And that's the best part is that Green Bay would not need to draft a quarterback if they still believe in Jordan Love after his rookie season.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. We've already talked about for GMs or former GMs believing in their picks that they did before, like doubling down, saying that I drafted this person for a reason. I'm sticking with it and whatnot.
Yep.
And
so
then,
you can use number 9 on whatever you want, especially if you get a wide receiver back in the deal. Now you're taking one of the top cornerbacks.
Dude. I mean, just look at the past. And I know it's different GM and whatever else, but listen, it's almost like history repeating itself with what they did with Favre.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Packers
fans
fans
like, oh my God,
punching
no one
their
knew that
dashboards
Aaron
right
Rodgers
now.
is going to be this.
Yeah. They're so angry. Is the chat going wild with cheeseheads over here?
Oh, if Erickson's listening, he's probably hit the floor by now. Man.
But it's not a bad deal. It's not a bad.
It's a good deal. I think it's a great deal.
Eventually, you kind of got to. Sorry, I like Aaron Rodgers. I think he's great and everything else, but I'm telling you that.
And then who do they take? What do you got for Green Bay's needs on here? I didn't go that deep.
Green Bay, wide receiver, linebacker, cornerback, tackle.
So you mean you could get yourself a Devontae Smith or a Micah Parsons? Or maybe a Rashawn Slater?
Well, you're definitely getting...
At pick number 9 if you did this deal?
Yeah.
You could get one of these top players?
You're definitely in line to get one of the top receivers or one of the top offensive tackles. Or Micah Parsons.
I'm just saying. Awesome. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
That
Good job, OJ.
That it could be. Listen, Twitter world. This is this could be a deal that
Listen,
if teams are calling.
The world.
I think here. I always tell this to people in my fantasy leagues. I always say there's an old story that goes as far as negotiations go, and why you should never tell somebody that player is untouchable. You can't have that player. It goes like this. Hey, would you lick the bottom of your shoe for $1? Well, no, I would never lick the bottom of my shoe.
Is it clean?
Okay, well, would you lick the bottom of your shoe for $1 million? Well, yeah, of course I'd do that. Okay, well, would you lick the bottom of your shoe for $5? No, I would never do that. Well, we've already established that you would do that. Now we're just negotiating the price.
Okay.
And that's where we're at. We're negotiating the price.
In my world, Bryce Harper is not negotiable. All right, so I'm not.
I traded for him this year. I got him a week ago, and then he got plunked in the face. He's not playing today.
No, that was rude of them to do that to him. But yeah.
That was mean.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is,
I know.
nobody's
I love your
untouchable.
analogy. I know your analogy.
Nobody's untouchable.
Well,
I love that you bring up Bryce Harper.
Yeah, of course. Well, it's the first thing I thought of. He's like, no one's untouchable. But
I probably licked the bottom of my shoe for $5.
I love your analogy of it. And
How dirty is it? How drunk am I, and how many shots is that $5?
I've been around a dumb enough bar owner that said that his place isn't for sale, and I said every bar is for sale for the right price. And by the way, he's sold his bar since then. But he said his bar restaurant wasn't for sale, and I said everyone's bar restaurant is for sale for the right price. Just don't say that.
Everything is negotiable. Like the $1 Million Man said, everybody's got a price.
Everybody's got their price. That's right.
Money.
All right, let's continue this conversation when we come back.
I want to hear from Packers fans, man. Would they do the deal? Would you do the deal?
Well, it's more like Eddie is just like, yes, get rid of the Hall of Fame quarterback.
Eddie's a Vikings fan. So the Bears fan and Vikings fans are
we got a call line. Call us, Packers fans. Let's go.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Come on. Would you take the deal?
I don't know why you
a second,
wouldn't.
a third.
I really don't know why you wouldn't.
And you take one of the Broncos receivers. They're stacked. They're loaded there. Come on, make the deal.
You're trading outside of the conference.
The fans are not sold on Jordan Love. That's why they don't want to do it. They love Aaron.
And they weren't sold on Aaron Rodgers either.
They'll stick with Aaron until his legs fall off.
But why? Do you feel like Aaron Rodgers loves the fans?
No.
I don't.
I think
Aaron
he loves
Rodgers,
the fans. I think he hates the management.
I think Aaron Rodgers loves Aaron Rodgers, and that's
I agree with that.
And there's nothing
he
wrong
loves
with
his
that.
hot girlfriend, Olivia Munn, right?
No. He's with Shailene
I can't
Woodley.
stand her.
Oh,
yet.
that's right.
I cannot stand her.
Really?
Big fan.
Yeah. You like
Good
her?
for him.
Yeah, dude.
Good for him.
You like her?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I hated her in Big Little
Big
Lies.
Little Lies.
What is she like?
Big Little
23, 24?
She's old enough.
And Olivia Munn's what?
Some of my favorite
35?
She's legal.
It's an upgrade.
My favorite.
We're going.
We got to take a break. We have to take a
I don't know. Front Street Brewery. You have to be legal age to drink there, Shailene Woodley. It's been serving Davenport since 1992 with great beers like the Davenport Gold, the Wise Guy, and the Raging River. And remember, the restaurant is down at 208 East River Drive, and the tap room is the Freight Ox Complex. So please go to their webpage to check them out, frontstreetbrew.com, or the Facebook page. Those are our friends at Front Street Brewery.
From the Vegas Gaming Cafe, this is the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM, KBLB Davenport, a Town Square media station.
The Battle of the High Schools is coming to Cordova International Raceway this Sunday. It's an all-teen event where schools battle to get the most points. The school with the most points wins the traveling trophy to display in their school. Teens only, and race any car you want. Gates open at 9 a.m. and the track is hot at 10. It's the Battle of the High Schools this Sunday at Cordova International Raceway. For more information, visit racecir.com or visit them on Facebook at Race Cordova.
Quad Cities, who's ready to spring into action and get a good deal on the used car? Arrowhead Ranch in Coal Valley is excited to announce their auto auction will be held on Arrowhead's campus May 15th. Get yourself a car, truck, or SUV and do a good deed at the same time. The auction helps youth at risk right in the QCA with the aim of providing scholarships for students in need. Call 309-799-7044 or go to arrowheadyouth.org for registration details. Arrowhead Ranch Annual Auto Auction May 15th.
PointsBet understands that in sports, it pays to be fast. Download the PointsBet app now and use code Iowa2K to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Whether you're a bettor or a baller, a sharp or a sharpshooter, if you're making money or just plain money, sports is speed. Luckily, your sports book can keep up. When you bet with PointsBet, you get faster bets, faster withdrawals, and faster rewards at your fingertips. Plus, right now, PointsBet is giving customers the best odds on all pro sports. That's better odds and bigger payouts on our lightning fast app because PointsBet knows every second matters. Time is money, and it pays to be fast. PointsBet has the best odds on all pro sports, so download the app now and use code Iowa2K to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. See for yourself why bettors are calling PointsBet innovative, lightning quick, and the reason they have ditched the other books. Download the app now to experience Iowa's premium sportsbook for yourself. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Attention homeowners! We know March, April, and May mean mild weather and the slowest months of the year for our business. So we've got great news for you. TMI is slashing prices and giving away deluxe furnaces for half price with the purchase of air conditioning. That's right, half price furnaces. Great utility and manufacturer rebates, plus this half off sale means huge savings. Don't miss out on this opportunity to get the best deal of the year. Estimates are free, so call today. TMI, heating, air conditioning, and plumbing.
Steve Weissman with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. The NFL Draft is finally here, but Thursday's round one not the only news. The Panthers were part of another quarterback trade, sending Teddy Bridgewater to Denver for a 6th-round pick. Meantime, AB is staying in TB. The Bucs and Antonio Brown agreed to a new 1-year deal Wednesday. In Dallas, Dak Prescott tells NFL Network his recovery from ankle surgery is going so well, he can now make almost all the throws he'd need to on game day. And despite Russell Wilson's recent public frustration with the Seahawks, which even led to trade rumors, Pete Carroll said Wednesday all is well with his quarterback.
Russ has been our quarterback for a good while, and we've got a long contract with him. And when all of the conversation went about trades and all that, I knew what the truth was. We weren't trading Russell. Russ is in a great place right now. He's been in a great place throughout the offseason. We have communicated throughout all of the things that are going, just like I always have.
This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Napa know-how.
Get a 5-quart jug of Napa full synthetic motor oil and a platinum filter for just $26.48. They're like the only couple you don't mind inviting over. They help you with your car, they save you money, and they never display their affection publicly. That's Napa full synthetic and a platinum filter for $26.48. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
General States pricing. Sales prices not include applicable state and local taxes or recycling fees. Offer ends 4/30/21.
We're all ready for spring. Now's the time to get ready for spring projects with help from the Home Depot. Install a brand new faucet, lay down fresh new flooring, roll on a bright new coat of paint. Need to figure square footage or paint coverage? Our project calculators will do the math. Do it all from our app and get delivery right to your door. Download our mobile app to get started. Bring on spring with innovative help from the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
All right, guys, we're back. Thanks for tuning in, and ladies out there.
Do we hear from any Packers fans yet?
I did put out on Twitter the poll of what would you do? Like, would you make this trade? What, yes or no?
I'm gonna go find that poll
type of thing. Of I think I did. So the Packers send Rodgers to the Broncos for the 9th and their second rounder of 2021, and they get their
you've messed this all up.
No, I did not.
The 9th overall this year,
And
their
40th.
first, second, and third overall next
I took
year.
9th and 40th.
Okay. Did you do anything for next year?
Yeah.
What'd you put
First
in?
and third and Jerry Judy.
Oh, then there we go. Let's do it.
That's what I said.
I'm still down. Let's do it.
That's what I said. Booby trap.
What'd they say? What's Twitter
Well,
saying?
it's a poll. It's just a poll out there, whatever. So, I mean, I've thrown everything else out there, but I mean, basically, the whole thing is people don't want to trade the. Packer
I'll
fans
tell you
don't
what.
want to trade him.
57% say yes, they would take that deal if they're the Packers. 57%
Was that
say
on your
yes.
Twitter poll? Or
Yeah,
Jay's?
I'm looking right now. 57% say
By
yes.
the way, Jay,
I would
sad
take the
news.
deal. Yes, what's that?
We're losing Eddie for live listening.
Okay.
Come Monday, man.
Why?
That deer is bringing him back.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah,
Tough times. Other things in the draft. What's going on? Like I said, I think there will be a lot of trades going on. I think the 4, 7, and 8 will be moved. Adrian, you brought up the Washington football team. I think they are in the hunt for a quarterback. I think they also be fine with Harris, the running back, if they could find him, trade down and pick him off before the 24th pick. As far as all the stuff going on tonight, like, I don't know. It's just going to be a lot of fun, but there's a lot of speculation out there. And some of it, I just wish we could just fast forward, because I really don't think we need 12 minutes when the Jaguars are on the clock. I don't know what the Jaguars are going to do with their entire draft, but I think it's important. And when I say I think it's important, because if they shy away from defense, which for some reason I feel like they're going to, and that's nothing against Urban Meyer, but it's not a college football team, and I think he just thinks if I score enough points, no one will be able to get in a track race with me. I think Jacksonville's in some serious trouble. If they don't go to we have our quarterback, we got to have a weapon here and there, but then go back to Saxonville. I think Jacksonville's in trouble. We've talked plenty of times about we like where Miami's sitting at with all the draft picks they have. San Francisco does just fine. I don't like what the Jets are doing. I don't like the front office. I don't know anybody really who...
Good, screw them.
Yeah, I don't... the Zach Wilson thing, okay.
1 year of production behind an elite offensive line, playing against subpar competition. Also, he cannot grow a beard.
Zach Wilson.
Yeah, look at his face. He can't grow a beard.
Jay, he makes you look old.
I don't like his tweet today. Like he's in the gym. He's like day one. Like he's doing like
yeah, seriously. Zach Wilson makes my 9-year-old son look old.
Well, even more, yeah. And then his Twitter is like Zachary Wilson. Like stop it, Zachary. Like nah, yeah.
He's the kid in kindergarten. They call him Zach. He's like, my name's Zachary.
Yeah.
Jacksonville has picks number 1, number 25, number 33, number 45, and number 65. That's 5 picks in the top 65 picks. If they don't go defense early, there's still plenty of time to address it as the draft goes on.
I hope they do.
I think they need to do something to protect Mr. Lawrence.
They have a lot of weapons already on the offensive side. You got your running back, James Robinson.
There you go.
They had I can't even pronounce his name. It's a wide receiver.
Chark.
Yeah, DJ
Chark. But there's another guy that they were really impressed with last year.
I'm telling you, I don't have any faith in Urban. Not saying this is my realm. I want my guys. That's all. And as much as it try to make it about him.
Here's what I got him doing in the first 4 picks. I've got quarterback, tackle, defensive end, tight end.
Who's going to be the tight end?
Freiermuth.
Freiermuth, yeah. He's probably the only one that's worth a second-round pick.
I got Rousseau at edge at 33. I got Tevin Jenkins at 25, and then obviously Trevor Lawrence at 1. And Freiermuth is good at blocking as well, so he helps the ground game. Plus, it's a decoy. If you decide to run him on up the seam from that, with what receivers they do have, like you mentioned, Adrian. I mean, Shark's not bad. I don't know. It's Urban Meyer, so I think you're going to look. It's going to look. It's going to look somewhat. He's going to. Here's my thoughts on Urban Meyer, and as you've seen him throughout his different career, right? He had Alex Smith at Utah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. He had Tim Tebow at Florida. Yep. He went on to Ohio State and had a couple different guys there. He'll change his offense to the strength of his players, is what I've seen from Urban Meyer, right?
Okay.
It wasn't like he had Tebow doing the same things that he had Alex Smith doing and vice versa. I think he'll play to the strengths of his player. I think he's that kind of coach. I mean, granted, you can say what you want about Urban Meyer when it comes to the recruiting aspect, how he ran his programs, dirty, clean, what have you. But this is the pros, and he's a pro-minded coach in that aspect. I think he fits in well. I think it's good to get him out of college football because he is kind of a dirty bastard.
Yeah.
But I think he fits in well, and I think he'll play to the strengths of what he has. He'll take and play to the strengths of Trevor Lawrence. That's going to be his most important.
I mean, if you can't get it done with Trevor Lawrence, it's just not happening for you. Sorry.
Bingo.
Can you give me an option though? Like When has a college coach gone on and been successful? Like we're already
Jimmy
giving,
Johnson.
We're already giving Urban Meyer. He did that because he was ahead of thinking of what draft picks, what they are actually worth. The Jimmy Johnson thing is the Herschel Walker thing. He looked at the draft picks and he said these are actually worth more because of X, Y, and Z. Looking back in the draft, so that draft is like the 1988, 87 draft or what?
No. They traded Herschel Walker his first year, 89.
89.
And then proceeded to get draft
I
picks
just
from
told you that the
89,
draft
90,
got
91,
draft
92.
made it on television in 1980, and the NFL didn't start scaling it back, and it didn't become a bigger deal it didn't become a primetime event until 1988. So he was at the forefront. All right, but he's your last one. He's your
That's fine, but at the same
Steve
time,
Spurrier a little bit.
When what was his success?
I mean, it wasn't
in
like
the NFL.
he didn't have a Super Bowl championship, but he did decent with Washington there for a little bit.
We're giving Urban Meyer way too much at the very stop. The man hasn't
I'm
coached in years.
I'm not saying he's going to do well,
follow
but
me.
if you can't do well with Trevor Lawrence, then you know he's a fraud.
That's what I'm saying. And then here's the deal. There's, like he said, 5 picks in the first 65 for his first year. That's going to be huge for him. And then moving on. Listen, he's going to be allowed to have a bad year or two. Let's just say this coming year they win 4 or 5 games, okay? Okay, it's his first year. He's getting everything together. These players got to grow together. And then he'll have more picks next year to work with. All right, let's say they make it to 8 and 8.
Having Trevor Lawrence as your quarterback is also going to help you get some free agents in there too.
Exactly. And they build that old line up, and they do things from there. They have a chance. I mean, let's just think about the division they're in, right? The AFC South. Who's the powerhouse right now?
Colts top.
It's a great question.
But we don't know what the Colts are surely going to be. Is Carson Wentz going to go back to being Carson Wentz, or is he staying what he's become? Ryan Tannehill's been great, but he just lost 2 huge receivers. Are they as good as they used to be?
The tank's going to run out of Derrick Henry eventually.
And Houston's a dumpster fire.
And Houston is a dumpster fire right now. Jacksonville is poised to be able to grow in that division within 3 years and take over that division.
I would say that's not
and you're
out
absolutely
of the
right
realm
on that
of
take
possibility.
on Derrick Henry. That is a very good take on
It's
Derrick Henry. They've been running the hell out of Derrick Henry.
Running backs are not long for the league.
Right.
And he's a different specimen, but it's going to run out.
He's
It always
getting
does.
hit. Those hits take
Well,
their
and
toll.
his running style doesn't lend to him,
Exactly.
not taking those hits. He absorbs them, and they'll eventually take their toll. But it's not out of the realm of possibility that Jacksonville is a perennial playoff team in the next 3, 4, 5 years.
Marvin Jones Jr. is in Jacksonville? I did
Yeah,
not know
yeah,
that. I did not know they went out and got him.
Yeah, they have some
Yeah, I
weapons
forgot
there.
about it. He was
a lot of skill players. as I'm
Some
looking at
people are advocating for them to draft Travis Etienne with the first pick in the second round to reunite the Clemson backfield with Lawrence and Etienne.
The Jaguars' Vegas line for over/under wins is 6.
You know what? You know what
Under.
else they signed? They signed Shaq Griffin, the cornerback from Seattle. This dude's solid. I mean, he's very good. You're right. Marvin Jones and Carlos Hyde is a backup running back.
Don't
Carlos
forget about
Hyde's
C.J.
still not-
Beathard.
And C.J. Beathard, yes.
Listen, don't talk me into the Jaguars. I want to be talked out of it.
They're not going to be good next year. I would take the under next year, but who knows? The second year is a big year for a quarterback.
Trevor Lawrence comes in here and does what he's supposed to do. I think they can win that division this year.
Next year, this upcoming season.
This upcoming season.
Yeah, depending on what the Colts do and
If
where
Colts
Tennessee's at, it's
if the
possible.
Colts don't
It's
take
possible.
a step forward, if Carson Wentz stinks it up like he was, he's on to something. They could.
You'd probably
9 and 7, 8 and 8.
You'd
right there.
probably still give them the third best odds to win the division this year behind Indianapolis and Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not, every year you see a team come up and surprise and overachieve.
All right,
There's
gentlemen.
teams that go from worst to first all the time.
That's true.
Like
Gentlemen,
Miami's about to do.
after Trevor Lawrence, after Zach Wilson, after Trey Lance, after Justin Fields or Mac Jones, what's the next quarterback taken off the board? Is it Kellen Mond or is it Davis Mills?
Kyle Trask.
I'm hearing Davis
Kyle
Mills.
Trask.
I think it's Davis Mills.
Okay.
I really do.
After Jamar Chase, after Jalen Waddle, after Devontae Smith, what's the next wide receiver taken off the board? Is it Rashad Bateman, Elijah
Rashad
Moore,
Bateman.
or Kadarius Toney?
I would say Bateman.
Did you guys know that Kadarius Toney actually has a rap name too?
What, K-Tone?
There's a lot of off-field concerns with Tony.
There's a lot.
He got pulled over with like machine guns in his car in Gainesville, and the cops were like, "Oh, it's Kadarius Toney. We better let him go. He's famous football player." Did not get arrested for that, by the way. Incredible.
Rough life.
And his excuse for why he needed the guns was there were people who were after him in Gainesville.
That's well, I would have just used it's my. It's not me. It's my rapper.
Yeah.
Name. And then he goes by Young Joka. YUNGJAKA. Young Joka.
JAKA.
But yes, he said teams ask me about it. They don't really make it an issue. Not like on social media where they say I don't take football as seriously as music. That would never be the case. If that were the case, I wouldn't even play football because whatever I'm most passionate about, I throw myself into, including running guns around Gainesville.
You know who else was real big into making rap music in the NFL recently?
Tom Brady.
Isaiah Wilson, first-round pick of the Titans last year, who played, I think, 3 snaps all of last year, was traded to the Dolphins this offseason for a 7th-round pick, and then cut 2 weeks later. And now his career is all but over. But he just released
I'm not even
Tony anymore. Yep, and he just released a 5-song EP yesterday,
now find
2
him
days
on
ago.
TikTok.
Did he really?
Yep, he's a rapper as well.
Wow.
So that's what happens when you take these guys who are focused on other things and not football. You gotta vet it out. You gotta make sure that football is their number one love. You know who said football's not their number one love? Trevor Lawrence. Yes, sir. He said football is not the most important thing in his life.
He did say it.
But
in
he
a
said
Sports Illustrated interview.
But he also said like they shouldn't.
Now I'm just trying to stir the pot here.
No,
I'm not saying he's going to flame out.
Said it to where he's like, it shouldn't be the most important thing in anybody's life. Like,
yeah, he said he had, his family. I mean, we're not like I'm sitting here like, what a POS. He loves his family more than football.
I'm sorry. I am pulling back on that then by that because if we're now going to do things as what the GOAT is, I'm pretty sure football's the number one thing in Tom Brady's life.
And you know who else didn't have football as the number one thing in their life?
It's not.
Andrew Luck. And he retired after how many years in the league?
Well, that's just because he... Yeah.
Certainly way earlier than he was
going
to.
If it wasn't for the pandemic, he would have come back and single-handedly run the XFL.
But a lot of people are saying they're getting Andrew Luck vibes from Trevor Lawrence. And is that somebody that is a can't-miss best quarterback prospect since 1983 John Elway? I don't know. Not my place.
That's what
to
Andrew
say.
Luck. Yeah, that's what he graded out.
You're going to fill the seats for the next few years, no matter what, with this guy. So
yeah. So I mean, you still take him. You don't pass him up.
No.
But you got to make sure. You got to keep checking in on this guy and make sure he's all in. But he's a winner. He's a winner, and at every level, high school and college, he's won games and championships, and obviously he's a very, very good football player.
He doesn't do it for me.
You don't like him? Who would you take? Number one overall this year?
I'd take Trevor Lawrence, but none of them do it for me, to be honest with you. I mean, they're all quarterbacks. You have to. You're building a franchise. You have to take the best guy out there.
You can take any quarterback from the last 2 drafts. Who's number one overall?
Oh, boy.
So you have Burrow, you have Tua, you have Herbert. Jordan Love's in there as well, but then you have the quarterbacks this year. Do you take Burrow over Lawrence? You got this Burrow pennant on the wall and the Burrow coffee cup right here in front of you.
I think it goes Burrow Lawrence.
No way. It's Justin Herbert.
I like Herbert 3.
I'm taking Herbert.
Listen, if
Joe Burrow doesn't tear his ACL,
if I look at the background on the things, and
does anybody surpass Zach Wilson this year at number 2?
I think Burrow would surpass Wilson this year. I think if you're grading the last 2 drafts, I would probably go Lawrence 1, Burrow 2. I don't even know if I'd have Wilson ranked above guys like Herbert, and obviously I'm biased towards Tua.
I wouldn't. No,
especially not judging Tua for his rookie season, which some people said was subpar. I thought it was perfectly average for a rookie quarterback.
It's just funny.
But coming into the draft, outside of that hip injury, Tua was neck and neck with Burrow until he hurt his hip. So I think you even put Tua ahead of Zach Wilson, at least in the hierarchy, if you're not using hindsight or whatever.
I would say you put Tua right now.
You think it goes Lawrence, Burrow, as far as going into the draft?
Going into the draft. I'm talking about knowing now what we know then a little bit.
And I'm sorry, I kind of went off bases. I meant tonight. Does anybody go ahead of Zach Wilson? Because I know we're running out of time.
I think that's pretty much locked in. Would I take Zach Wilson second? I'm not sure. I just don't know if he has enough production. I really do like Justin Fields. I do. Is he going to be that dude year one? Probably not, but I think he gets there.
It's just, I'm with Jay a little bit. I don't understand the hype for Zach Wilson either. I don't
have it.
I know he's going too, I guess, because
now we probably just jinxed it, and I'll have to deal with Zach Wilson for the next 20 years, like I did with Brady for the last 20.
Well, who knows?
The Jets.
It is
All
still
right.
the Jets.
Well, gentlemen, it's been a fun 2 hours.
Let's do another 2. They'll stick around, right?
Yeah. It's been a fun 2 hours.
Let's just barricade ourselves in this radio station.
got-
They can't take us off.
Yeah.
Here, can they?
The draft will be kicking off in about 5 hours, just round 1. Tomorrow we have round 2, and it will go through the weekend. It's a lot of fun to talk about. And if you can get out there and do some prop bets, go do some prop bets. Hopefully we helped you through that thing. We're interested to see what the Bears are going to do if the Packers will trade Aaron Rodgers. The Dolphins have a lot of picks too as well. I do like your idea that they trade up from 6 to 4, Merrick. I think, like I said, 3 will. I think there'll be 3 trades in the top 10. I think 4, 7, and 8 will be traded out.
I think Green Bay. I agree with our man.
They will not be picking at 29.
Green Bay will not pick at 29.
They'll be doing something else.
And they'll be picking at 9 after they trade Aaron Rodgers.
All right, gentlemen. We will see you later. Thank you so much for being in here. Quad Cities, we will see you later. Stay safe and sanitized. We'll talk to you soon.
Peace. By the way, that polls
This is Randall, the QC hot dog guy. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
Davenport and Moline, get ready. 20 ribeyes for $35. Fishers of Men Foods is bringing you a meat sale you don't want to miss. At North Park Mall Davenport behind Firestone and South Park Mall Moline behind Olive Garden. Just look for the big truck and tent. It's a gigantic steak, seafood, chicken, and pork meat blowout sale happening now for a limited time. You'll also find mega ribeye porterhouse, T-bone jumbo shrimp, fillets, lobsters, pork ribs, pork chops, even top quality chicken breast. And of course, 20 ribeyes for $35. It's all happening in North Park Mall Davenport behind Firestone and South Park Mall Moline behind Olive Garden. Hurry and fill your freezer with quality meat, pork, seafood, and chicken just in time for grilling season. This sale won't last long, and while you're there, ask about their whole cow and half cow specials. It's this year's gigantic meat sale, only happening in North Park Mall behind Firestone and South Park Mall behind Olive Garden. 20 ribeyes for $35, cash, credit, or debit card. See you today.
Looking for a job with a stable company where hard work and good attitudes are rewarded with advancement opportunities? XPAC in Milan, Illinois, the Quad Cities' leading logistics provider, has immediate openings on the first and second shifts. Start your career and enjoy attendance incentives, great benefits, and teamwork that makes a difference. Make XPAC your new work family. Apply online at xpac.com. That's XPAC.com. XPAC is an equal opportunity employer.
Run with us on a John Deere Z365R Z-Track mower, built for taking it easy. With the Easy Change 30-second oil change system and standard mulch control to control your clippings without any extra effort. Because lawns aren't just for mowing, they're for living. Nothing runs like a Deere. Get a new Z300 Series zero-turn mower with 0% APR for 24 months at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 1-800-226-8903.
Dolan Jewelers has you covered this Mother's Day. This is Will Dolan telling you we have a special selection of brilliant diamond stud earrings available only until Mother's Day. Reserve a pair now